Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. We did it. Hi. Hello, everybody. My name is Nick, aka Goknek. Welcome back to another episode of your favorite Momentum Mod uh, podcast.
The
It's
only.
just
Yeah.
me and Tom today, but
Yeah.
this is just hanging out, answering some of your burning questions that you asked us over in Discord as well as
Oh.
some in the chat. But yeah, I guess I'm the project development lead of Momentum.
Fun.
Been working on a lot of different things. We'll get into that question here in a bit, but Tom,
Wait,
you
you
can.
hadn't got to the introduce yourself thing, or you have?
No, it's just so
Okay.
like free form now that
I
it's
thought
just
you started
flowing
just
into it.
spontaneously saying who you were, like a
Yeah, no,
Pokemon.
I'm
That's not what
crazy.
Pokemon do, right?
But yeah, no, Tom, you can introduce yourself too, and we'll just get going. Yeah,
Yeah. Oyo. I'm Tom. I'm the web lead and stuff, and I've been doing calling and website stuff and all sorts of things. I hope to have stuff to show off today. We're not even on the staging branch. This month. Probably next month we will be. Oh my
yes,
god, look how bad I am at stuff. Um, the we there's stuff I couldn't get finished, so I just gave up and yeah. So we'll have more stuff to show off. Stuff to show, yeah, stuff.
stuff to show.
Um,
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in progress that's going to kind of click together all at the same time, and I think next month is going to be where we can start to like show that clicking
stuff's like
together.
a little bit clicked, but then it's like the map selector. Wait, does the map selector even work at all right now? Yeah, it
I
does, I think, on staging, but there's a bunch of stuff that's
Yeah,
broken. A lot of that stuff will be fixed soon. One of the things is O10's the game modes are changing quite a bit. We're completely wiping parkour and trick surf off the face of the earth for now. And
just commenting it out. They'll
there's
come
more
back in
submodes.
a future update.
Yeah. Nuking. Um, there's a couple of submodes. It's really hard to surf and talk. I'm really bad. There's there's Half-Life 1B hop and the climb variant and what was the other thing? Climb, no, defrag. There's VQ3 and CBM. They're all separate game modes. Now, though there'll be
Yes.
kind of more sort of categorization in the UI in the future. Right now, the O10 map selector is going to look pretty crap. Because it's going to be replaced by something really cool afterwards, and we're not going to have it done for O10. So it'll look a bit, but that's fine. But
Yeah.
we'll have that and working quite soon. There's all this stuff it's like three different code bases that all need changing at once, and I'm being really slow at it because we've got the website repo, which is there's multiple code bases. It's a big old mono repo, that thing, but it's got front end,
Right.
back end, other stuff. There's the game code base, which is the big crazy engine thing that the game's built off of.
Closed source. Yeah. C++
Yeah,
code. Yeah.
a big spooky guy, really horrible enums that are using enums, not even enum classes, and I keep complaining about it and being a dick. But um, then Panorama, which is UI, which is also TypeScript. So the web stuff is all TypeScript, the game stuff is C++, and then Pano's TypeScript. That will be better. What am I talking about? What am I saying?
Yeah, we're gonna clean that
Uh,
up to have better types that are
yeah,
shared
I've been doing
between
that.
all of the
Yeah,
TypeScript areas. It's yeah, there's a lot of
yeah,
again, just a lot of different pieces that are starting to come together because it's yeah, they're all kind of
yeah.
dependent on each other. And so it's yeah, once one's done, then you jump to the other part of it and get it up to where it's ready and hook it up. And it's like you can't really ship that or show that off because it doesn't work until it does, if that makes sense.
Well, we
Um,
have it a little bit on the staging branch, and we were showing it off last
yes.
month.
Yeah.
But we've not done another push to that branch yet. Also because that requires pushing stuff to Steam and all of our web stuff, which is not that bad. But there's a bit of stuff coming together. We've also got the zoning stuff that's almost finished, but not quite ready to show off. We were discussing showing it off
Yeah.
earlier, and we're not gonna. But it's almost in review.
We
Alice has done a great job
will
with that.
show it off next
So
stream. Yeah. It
yeah, we'll
is
probably have
like
a lot more next year.
90% there. Yeah. The
We've
UI.
also eventually we would have shown off the new replay system. Basically, this time a week ago, Rio Replay was showing off the new Rio system. Um, and yeah, it's
The new
really
replay system is
cool.
crazy. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so
not
that's
only
why
just
I can.
supporting like weapons and things like that, it's supporting map entities as well, right? And not only that, but I think it's smaller than
Yeah,
the current
replay is a bit
replay
smaller.
format, so it's getting
Oh, hold on.
a
I'm in
lot of
different context.
love, and it's getting a giant refactor that's really exciting. Oh shit,
Conk
this
speed.
technically is the next. What was that?
Come to Conk speeds while I'm.
Oh, okay,
Sorry,
yeah,
yeah, we're already on to the whatever's been up to. Yeah, let's just
yeah,
keep going. Yeah, okay. Um, oh
I
wait,
guess
I'll
I could
wait
have.
till you
Yeah,
speed as a
I guess I
search
could
bar.
have searched for it.
You
Yeah.
made that
Wait, speed whip or two?
speed
Okay.
speed whip. Yeah, why is it? Oh yeah, because I was going to like detail it. Can't do
Yeah,
that.
that's right. The
I'll have to
Polyhaven assets.
retexture it with the. No, this was pre-Polyhaven. This was like a year, 2.5 years ago. I could find the exact date because I remember the exact podcast I was listening to when doing this, or one of them. Um, okay, so O10, yeah, we'll have more stuff to show off soon. I don't know if Rio stuff will be in a month from now. That's kind of the final thing. Yeah, but yeah. I think we've basically said officially now. O11 is all in O10. Like whatever O11 was
Yeah.
exactly, we hadn't even like fully spec'd everything out yet because we were gonna do O10 first. We've ended up doing O11 as well because we needed it for round submission and we were doing it anyway. And yeah, we're doing okay. I've not conked it a bit. Yeah, I mean, I need to
It's
be
all
able to
good.
talk, okay? So that's why I'm
Oh,
playing this
hold on one second.
because I know
There we
this.
go. Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know why I'm playing.
there is
Honestly,
so much
this mistake.
that is
But
going
if you
into
know what,
O10. There's like it's interesting how we're going to like organize the blog and like because there's like I don't want to downsize the amount of effort that went into everything, but like there's so many big things, like lumber, for example. We can't just like do like a paragraph about and be like, this is
it'll be
lumber.
fine.
Like we're gonna be using this for
No,
map submission.
it's
Moving
you
on.
get it's falling. Like it's the people that need to know about Lumper will learn all about Lumper.
Oh yeah.
Like at
So
least,
it's gonna be a
like
fun like probably I don't even want to know how many like thousands of words it's gonna be, but it's gonna be a big blog post, and hopefully I
it's
get
all
to
just like where it'll be fun.
yeah, hopefully I get to document everyone's like amazing work that they've done over the years, because this has been a while coming. But yeah, we have been so just this first question, what everyone's been up to. We've been just working on O10, right? That's just been the focus. Ellis has been working specifically on the zone, like refactor specifically with the new zone tooling that we have in game. We do also have a zone tool that will parse a VMF. So if you're a mapper adding zones, you can just add it to your VMF, and then we
Oh
have a
yeah,
tool that will just parse it out of it, and then make it so that it's part of the zone file that you need, as opposed to inside the BSP. The reason that we have it separate, by the way, for anyone that's wondering, is so that you can update the zones without having to update the entire BSP. It's a completely separate thing that we store.
also like
So
loads of systems use their own system that can't read BSPs because BSPs are bastards. So
yes, yeah. So the data being in a more accessible file and format is better than it being just kind of tucked into every BSP. Even though we have something like Lumper that could help us do things like that, yeah, it's good to have it separate. So we have that coming to fruition here in a bit. We have Rio working on a lot of awesome replay work, which yes was I talked about it in the last Q&A, was planned for 11.0, but now after we get 0.10.0 out, we're gonna actually publish an updated roadmap with like now everything that we still have left after 0.10 drops, because it's changed a bit since the current roadmap, and yeah, it'll be really cool to get it just kind of like slimmed down, because a lot of things that we were needing are kind of pushed into 0.10.0 out of necessity for 0.10.0 to work. So it's really exciting.
well, we
And
could have got it working, but it would have been dog shit, so we didn't.
yeah, it would
We
have been
wanted to do it.
really like hacky, and we would have had to redo it anyway for a later version. So we're just using 0.10.0's kind of like fresh, like back end deploying everything to do kind of the bigger refactors as well. But yeah, it's going to be really exciting. So we're not going to have an 0.13.0, I think. We're going to remove one feature milestone version because of all the work that's getting into 0.10.
You know
But
what?
we'll,
My guess is it will be 0.11.0 and then we'll. That's right.
Yeah, probably. We
How
might
much
even,
do
yeah,
you
that's true. We
feel
might
like
even just get rid of O12 as well, just with how everything's kind of clicking together. Because the main thing after O10.0 really that we need for release is going to be anti-cheat and learn mode. And learn mode is
yeah.
something that artists
Well,
can do asynchronously alongside the development effort going into anti-cheat and other miscellaneous systems. But that's
we might also
truly what
find
we
that we
need.
start like incrementally adding anti anyway, right? Like as opposed to just like doing like 1.0 and that's the first time anti cheat is ever like in use. So maybe we won't even maybe O10 will be the last milestone. Who knows? Like it
Yeah,
might not make
well,
sense to do future milestones. Like,
we'll see because we still need learn mode in versions around that, and that could be in O10. But yeah, like it will be a lot of kind of just respecing the roadmap to make sure that we have exactly what we need documented, and then the nice to haves will be mainly what extra development effort can go towards. So things like the cosmetic system or things that would make 1.0 really flashy, really amazing. We can also add there too. But yeah, so we've just been carrying on. You may have seen Tom's streams of their work on like Lumber on the website, right? These are open source projects that we would love any help and contribution towards. If you
yeah,
do help, you get a key. You get access to the game early. But
yeah, but
with
also like
O10,
we're still
right?
getting public
Yeah.
because
So
we
for
can't
those
blind
that
people.
didn't, I guess we'll move into the first question here, right? Game release
Oh yeah, I
when?
put that at the start because we're kind of talking about this already. So
Yes. No,
like
it's
I
a good
mean,
point.
we're not giving you a date. We don't have a date for O10, and then we'll have O10 and then stuff and then the game. Why am I saying this is like such a lazy way? Like
So yeah, I can take it. It's the way that releases work for a project like this is that we need to have everything we need for a release done and in before we can give a date. We can't set dates or deadlines for anything because it's all volunteer effort, right? Things come up all the time. Real life gets in the way of things, and it's just not possible to hit a date before knowing that things are in or like the scope of everything, right? So a long time ago, I stopped giving exact dates on when the game releases or things like that. But we still, can set a date after we had, like for O10, we'll be able to set a date for once we get, all of these systems that are almost in and working and tested and everything's fine. So like that is how this kind of project works, unfortunately, which is, yeah, it sucks because it'd be really nice to be able to hold us to a date. I wish I could do it too, but everyone on the team would quit if I did that because it's just, people doing
we
this
wouldn't
out of
quit. No, it's not that we
um,
quit. It just wouldn't work. Like it just wouldn't release at that date.
yeah, it would just, well, that was what
Yeah.
happened is we kept trying to set dates and missing them, and it's just kind of demotivating to keep doing
Yeah.
that or just kind of like out of touch in a way too. So
Out of touch.
realistically, a release date isn't possible until we know that we have everything we need in it. And so when that happens, it's usually going to be within the week or a week or two. And that's when we will spit out a date because we're very confident about it, and like it's just a bunch of like maybe like admin or like PR work to do, right? Left with like a blog post or something, right? So yeah, just the main way to
Yeah.
stay up to date with when things are going to happen is to just stay in the Discord, exclamation mark Discord for our Twitch chatters. This it's genuinely the best way to stay up to date. We don't try to ping you, incessantly or anything like that. We're trying to reserve the everyone pings and things like that for when we actually do, the big drops and
Real
big
milestone.
updates, big
Unless you're
milestone
subscribed to the
updates.
stream.
Yeah, exactly. In which case they ping you
Yeah.
twice every time someone's ping.
Yeah, our live stream ping bot is a little drunk and does it
But
a
it's
couple
also it's
times.
not just that it's broken, but it's also just a useless feature that just like no one wants to be pinged for every single live stream, but some people click it like not really reading what it does, and
Yeah.
then complain that they're getting pinged by the live stream bot. And it's true that it pings you twice as much as it should, but these people don't want to get pinged in the first place. So, yeah, I think we said we were going to keep the pings. I anyway, 4 times. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. But anyway, so the I know this question is coming across as more of a like, hey, when can I play? So for those
Oh
that
yeah,
are
those
curious about
010.
that, just recapping our last Q&A, we are opening up the playtest at 010. So when we release 010, we will be pinging everybody saying, hey, if you've requested access to the playtest, you are now in. It's an open playtest, right? It might not be exactly when Oteno releases. We got to make sure we're testing it and making sure everything's not on fire with the existing testers that we have. But once that's cleared and all good, we'll be able to have everybody in and just go from there. Thank you, Lodi, for the raid.
Whoa. Free.
Yeah, so thank you for your patience, everybody. O10 is such a milestone, a huge milestone update that, you know, it's almost akin to 1.0, but there's still some minor work that we need to do, especially with, well, I guess minor work. There's still some major work we have to do with anti-cheat, but then also, you know, some minor cleanup work and then making sure things are stable. 1.0 is still going to be a fresh slate, everybody in kind of update, right? So we are still going to hype up that update, maybe even do like a tournament or something to really up the you know, do a giant stream and stuff like that, right, for it. But with 010, right, we're going to allow everybody in and hopefully, right, over time get, you know, more people in and testing and tons of maps in and stuff. It's just basically 010 is the soft 1.0 release. So it's yeah, like it's good to get
yeah for
all of our content pipelines kind of like optimized and like monitored as well. We need to make sure that we're going to be able to support thousands of people if
well, yeah, okay, yeah, we're not doing like, we're not making stuff needlessly complicated just because we're going to scale to some amount that we're never actually going to scale to. Like it's don't worry about it.
But yeah,
like,
so the main important thing with 010 is just going to be getting metrics to see, are we slamming our servers and stuff like that, and then going from there. We're not going to preemptively scale or do anything like that. But yeah, so game release for you to be able to play 010 for the actual, like, you know, public release that we're like really excited and we'll hype up and like, you know, go crazy with like trying to get marketing and stuff for it. That is 1.0 still.
Yeah. Oh my god, that'd be so much. Oh, it's gonna be so exhausting.
Yep,
so much
exhausting. Like, probably gonna stay up, take a couple days off of work, and like stay up a bunch.
Yeah,
to
a couple
see.
of days.
Yeah, just in case there's any fires.
The most chaotic ever. It's gonna be horrific. There's gonna be so many fires. Anyway, sorry.
We'll see. But yeah, so thank you, Sim, for this question. We get it a lot. We're still getting it in our Q&A live channel of all places. But yes.
Wait. Yeah, it's fair to ask it. Like, we shouldn't be indignant about people asking when it's coming out. It's just we're not going to give you a specific answer. We might have 1.0 out by the end of this year. If that's what you want. Like, the whole game release won't be this year.
How many updates between 0932 and 010?
Doesn't matter.
So
it's meaningless.
It doesn't. Yeah. So let me explain the version number really quick. The three numbers, right? It's called semantic versioning, SEMVer for short. So the three numbers are three distinct numbers. They're not necessarily like 0999 will lead to 010 or anything like that. It is it's major, minor, and patch are the three numbers. So major, we're at 0 because we're not public. Like it's not a public 1.0, like, you know, every public and like everyone can play it.
We're going public at 010.
Right, so but like the game isn't at the state that would be release, like constituting
actual, like, fully released playable thing at one point.
Yeah. So yeah, like we're at 0 until we hit that point, which is going to be probably pretty quickly after 010 compared to the other updates that have happened, right? But we'll see. But the second number, right? So the 9 that we're currently on right now is usually just kind of like, yeah, it's minor, but I've been calling them kind of like feature milestones. We're on 09 because it's a lot of kind of like game mode related updates. So like we have a bunch of game modes, and like the patch version, the third number is just like any push that we do to the game to fix things. It's just minor fixes and things like that. Not really breaking anything from previous versions, but it's just a nice way to know that the game is still being updated and that there's a new version and that we're not just on 0.9 a bunch of times until we're on 0.10, right? So it's just another qualifier there for just like kind of the build that you're on, right? Like what update. The Yi, that's pretty good. So yeah, so there's no relation between like like 0.10.0 is just when all of the features for 0.10.0 are done. There's no relation between we need to get to 0935 or something before we're ready.
That was what was really great was when 0910 came out. People were like, "Oh God, you mean there's another 90 versions of 010?"
It's I understand for anyone that isn't a developer, the version scheme doesn't make that much sense, and yeah, I guess we could have simplified the version number to just be 2 numbers instead or something, right?
That'd be worse.
But yeah, so
people
I
ought
think
to know how it works.
Yeah, it is a valuable because a lot of other projects use this version scheme, so it'd be good to educate people on how it works. Oh, which map did you end up going to?
Go play on I don't know what spec Lumia. I don't want to be able to have to do stuff.
Okay, where are you at, Lumia?
Highway.
Yeah.
You're on Bull Highway. Okay.
I can't wait to make the multiplayer UI actually good. Yeah, with all the milestones, we've been terrible with milestones in the past. Like 08, the thing that changed the whole engine branch was 088. It went 087 to 088 for some reason.
The rationale behind that was because it technically was backwards compatible.
But who cares?
Right. It was messed up, for sure. I am not saying that it was a good idea or a good thing.
The main thing was like if there's we might have a couple more updates between now, the 09s and 010.
Yeah.
Every time we push one, like we go into Steam thing and it'll be angry comments, be like, "Oh, Momentum's dead. They're not updating at all or whatever." And then we say, "Join our Discord," and then they don't. Anyway, I expect Lumia. Hex number builds. What? Wait.
Oh, like well, we could do commit hash. That was one of the ideas. It was like you can do a commit hash.
Version commit.
I know. Yeah.
Fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with semantic.
Yeah, semantics my favorite because it's just there's a lot of like play with how you want like a lot of people start at 1.0 as well because if you have like something that someone can use that's technically 1.0 but like I don't know.
The main version is 0 versioning, which is the worst. Yeah. Which, if you've not seen, is that we're not doing this. Zerover.org.
Or we would never be at 1.0, yeah.
Yeah, React Native, which is on 0.750 RC.5. Great stuff.
Yeah. Like what constitutes a 1.0 for React? Yeah. Anyway, like that's what's
But yeah.
There's some projects that might not want to use Semver, but for us it makes a lot of sense because it separates kind of like what Momentum is currently at. Right, and things to look forward to. So yeah, like that's the thing is when we release 1.0, right, you get to look back at like all of these 09, 010, right, like days, and then you see like it's kind of like a beta, right, period in a way, and then 1.0 is kind of like the full release. So it's cool. It's just a nice way.
We stop saying that. We are saying that it's full release and not beta because campaign's full release now. We finally stopped saying that.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, the campaign update will make it like a full game in my eyes, but like it's not
but, like
a 1.0 full. Like everyone will be able to enjoy the game at 1.0.
I think at one point we were saying that right now we're in alpha, and then it will be beta after 1.0 or something, and then the full release campaign or something.
Yeah, that's what it was before. Yeah.
Yeah, as fun as campaign will be, I don't think many people are like waiting for the campaign. Like full release is like Momentum being a fully playable game was like the match people are used to, not the campaign.
Yeah.
We'll definitely should be like advertising 1.0 as being the full release. I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, we right now I think with like release pacing and stuff, like there's definitely a significant amount to do, but before 1.0, with things like anti-cheat. But most of the kind of concrete things we need to do are concrete. Like we have a pretty clear picture of what they are and
Yeah.
actually who's going to be working on them. This time about a year ago, I was feeling a lot more afraid for momentum progress, just because it's very dependent on specific people, and still kind of is to an extent. I think if Rio disappeared, it's so arrogant, but I think if I disappeared, like there'd be really difficult for stuff for Nick, and I'd say well, I don't know. Like there's loads of people do valuable stuff, but there's just been a lot of the like website rewrite. Big chunk of that was me, of the new zoning time and stuff. Loads of that's been real, and it's just kind of like it would set us back a very very long way if like one of us was to just disappear.
Yeah.
And like I'm not sure we would have the like organizational capacity or just the manpower, person power, whatever, to like fully get to grips with stuff. However, at this point, like if one of us was to drop off the face of the planet or whatever, die, I think everything's like very doable. And like so there's less kind of risk at this point, and exactly how we're going to be doing anti-cheat, like a lot of the kind of there's some technical decisions to be made, but like the kind of broad decisions are kind of mostly there.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that's like overwhelmingly like large as a thing. I mean, well, they are large. Like doing AC will be a lot, but like a lot of the current tech we need for a lot of tech we need for AC is already in place.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think especially when it comes to the work Rio's been doing, and this has been impressing so much, has been how the bulk of the work Rio's been doing over the last like 2 years really does all come together to form like a very kind of coherent kind of body of work. Whereas when it comes to zoning and timer, run submission and replays and playing back replays and stuff, and then anti-cheat, and these things are all very heavily related. And Rio's kind of been the main kind of brains behind this. And right now, like we had a meeting, this time a week ago, going through stuff with Rio, and it's the progress is amazing. So yeah, there's O10's really taking a long time, but like so much of what we need of those kind of core systems I'm talking about that ultimately build up to having full anti-cheat and a reliable timer and good zones and all that. Like so much of that has been done in the last year by Rio. So we're really like, I don't want to like say exactly what proportion of the overall work it is, but like probably more than half of that kind of whole big kind of body of stuff to do. So, yeah. We won't release this year, but by the end of this year, we'll have O10 out by the end of this year.
O10 will be this year. That is guaranteed.
We can say that unless something like really weird happens.
Yeah, that's true. We can
pull some other big technological work into O10, which is really unlikely. I don't know what that would be.
Yeah. Acid Atlas. Let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we need to be
cloud storage costs.
Val was just gotten with us and telling us we could do Source 2.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, I just wanted to note on that there's a lot of people doing a lot of great work. Rio's picking up a lot of the bigger pieces, but I mean, it's been working off of kind of specs that have been done through the entire team getting together and talking about systems, and a lot of brain power goes from just discussing and planning these things out, and that takes time. It takes a lot of time. I think it took us a couple months to get tons of Google Docs, tons of meetings on our free days because we all work and have school and so so it's a lot of time to get this stuff figured out, and then implementation usually comes pretty quickly because we're all very skilled at what we do, right?
I mean, open implementation has taken the better part of a year.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, the specs do take a while, but I mean, the implementation is still the bulk of the work.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of it is seeing how much of the existing stuff, which was implemented without a lot of specs, right? It was just kind of roughly designed and done, like kind of haphazardly and built on top of haphazardly and things like that. And so it's a lot of just ripping a lot of that out and starting anew, but not in the sense that like, like we still have replays, obviously, but the format's changed. What's being recorded has changed. It's way more efficient. It does more than the old system ever could think about doing in a reasonable manner.
But
If
also,
we
it's
started,
something we can actually use for anti-cheat, which yours shouldn't
yeah,
certainly shouldn't.
right, and is O10 a public release? That is correct. So
Yeah.
yes, it is. We will release O10. We'll make sure everything's stable and not catching on fire because we don't want to let everybody into a fire. But O10 will be, if you request access to the playtest, you will get access to it. Like that's, we're not going to do any more queues or anything like that. And yeah, it is. It is exciting, but the reason why it's still a playtest and not just releasing the game is because we still have a ton of maps to go through, port, add to the game, right? And then there's also any cheat that won't be effectively in at all until we get to like the next main version, right? We're going to be working on any cheat. Yeah, 1.0 will be like the final, like, hey, your times will matter. Keep in mind that it's a public release, but not we're not keeping all of the data that happens from 0.10 to 1.0. We're going to be wiping. It's going to be a fresh slate at 1.0. So you can surf again, you can play all of the maps that we support and everything like that, but keep in mind that if you're going to be grinding for a really good time or try to like start to grind for like XP or rank or things like that, it's going to be wiped. So it's going to be completely fresh at 1.0. The full game release before 2060? Yeah. I mean, I would think so. If O10, like O10's going to be this year, I would say 1.0 will likely be next year unless we just hit a roadblock of not knowing what needs to go into anti-cheat.
Next, getting it out, I would love to get it out next year. It's so much that will heavily depend on who has time, who's like motivated.
It always depends.
Also, the thing with a project like this, there'll be so much random shit at 1.0 that we have to get finished, and it will just take ages. So, like, we're definitely not committing to like. Yeah, and Nick's not saying we are.
Yeah,
like,
there's
getting
no
1.0 out within the next 18 months. Like, on paper, sounds very feasible, but we're not going to commit to that.
Yeah.
A lot of it also depends on how much other people are contributing. If you really want to get it out soon, I need fucking web devs. Put it very bluntly, but like a lot of this web work I'm going to be doing, and like I can be doing if I have I say I just because I'm web leader manage everyone, but it's okay. If we have more web people, I'll be doing a lot more anti-cheat stuff. I expect other things that we want done for 1.0 that I'll have a lot less time for if it's me doing all the web work or just me and Gordy. So if we got more web people, not
contributing
stuff, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but there's a good amount of stuff
in some capacity. Greatly helps the progress of the game, as well as gets you a key if you don't have one yet. But at 0.10,
well, after 0.10 it won't matter. Yeah. But also, I want to say that quite a lot of stuff people can't contribute to and make a meaningful difference. Let's say, like, there's some stuff that like map porting isn't going to slow down 1.0 release, like unless we really get like absolutely no one. But like, if no one's porting maps at all, then I don't know why we expect 1.0 to like speed stuff up or whatever. Like, porting doesn't have to be finished by 1.0.
Right.
A good amount of the stuff is going to be core devs, currently licensed devs who are working on stuff, right? Like, we open source what we can on Momentum, but the core game code is closed source. And the anti-cheat stuff will even be a subset of the base team. Probably every licensee will have access to that, actually, but like AC is still like very we obviously don't want random people doing like major anti-cheat work because a lot of it's very secretive and spooky stuff. But there really are ways.
You're making it sound like we're gonna do like a malware or kernel rootkit thing. No, it's a lot of different systems that we need to just make sure that we have in place, and then also not fully detail in the public for potential cheaters to bypass.
If people do want to get stuff out faster, then if I had to do less web stuff, we'd have had the back end rewritten a lot faster. And there's more web stuff we need doing. The main thing is that the people that do actually get stuff out fast, you need to put a lot of time in. Like, that's just the reality of it, is you need to spend a lot of time learning how all this stuff works, even if you're a pretty solid programmer in related areas. Like, you have to get used to our code base and stuff, and
working with a team, which a lot of devs that have been that might not have had that experience as well. So being patient with code review and things like that. We've had a lot of people contribute, but then when they hit the PR and they get some feedback, they disappear, right? And then we just have to kind of absorb.
Usually those people didn't do very good PRs, but yeah, that's the reality of that. Anyway,
I mean, this was like way back, like in the open source.
I guess so.
But it's,
I mean,
so like realistically, right? Like it's a lot of work, and helping us in any capacity there, right, just helps us get closer to a release, right, quicker. So I think we can move on to the next question here, but so just recapping for those that are joining, right, O10.0 is a public launch in the way where if you request access to the playtest, you will have access to the game. We're not going to, right, like fully advertise that the game is out, like whatever, because there's still anti-cheat that we need to work on, porting a bunch of maps that hopefully you guys, right, the community help with. And then also we need to just make sure the game's like polished and ready for the 1.0 like wipe. We have a bunch of other features we'd like to get in, but like it just depends, right? If on development effort and free time and everything. So yeah, and then 1.0 is the full release with anti-cheat. We're going to advertise it. We're going to get it out everywhere. That, you know, like that is like the release that like people should be really looking forward to, like grinding and getting the most out of momentum, because we'll have all of these maps that we hopefully ported from O10, right? They're ready. They'll be in. We'll have ideally, you know, all of our systems locked down and not needing tweaking, no wipes or anything needed for the leaderboard. So yeah. But it's exciting. It is like genuinely a really exciting time, what Tom was saying. I just wanted to give input on that too, because there have been times where it gets down to just me or a couple other devs with very little free time working on things. And it gets scary, but again, the ball is still rolling and eventually gets to the point where the game is, you know, out. It's something I want to release. There's no bait and switch. This isn't vaporware. There's nothing going on with this other than just we are taking our time and very carefully designing and implementing a lot of systems that we believe, you know, we should have.
But it is also like we genuinely just need depth. Like the main reason it takes time is to some extent, you know, that is an issue of like we can't license everyone, but you know.
Right. And so that's a bit of a
we also do license.
That's a little bump in the road there of like game dev is a little more involved to get people onboarded, and I don't even know how consistently we can onboard people now. Valve is very fickle with being able to license people. So
not fickle, it's they don't read emails.
True, yeah, and it's it sucks, but that's just kind of how that goes. But the rest of like everything's open source. I really wish we could open source Strata and Momentum. That would be great. But it's too much NDA code that we would have to get legal approval for. So, and if we can't even license a new dev, then that's out of the question. So, but yeah, it's just it takes its time. It's going to come out. And we really genuinely appreciate all of your guys' patience and kind words of support, because it really helps being able to see that people aren't just pissing themselves over not having the game, right, and calling us a bunch of different things. It genuinely helps just seeing general support. So thank you all for that. The game will come out. It'll be amazing. I mean, it's technically kind of already out. It's just when it's fully out, everyone can play it. You guys will be amazed by it. It's going to be probably the most polished fucking game. So
it will be the greatest game ever made.
The greatest game ever made.
Yeah,
I can legally say that. So thank you, Sim, for this question. We get it a lot in chat and everywhere, but thank you all so much for sticking with us. I know it's a long process, but it will come out. I promise. I want to play it. I want, like, that's the reason I'm still here, right? I want a game like this.
Is too long. Like, the person who asked this is not listening to
this. Oh, okay.
They wanted like a 30-second answer, I assume, and like.
Yeah, we kind of went off the rails a little, but still, it's good to talk about it all in front of you guys and YouTube. Hi, YouTube viewers.
Hi, YouTube. Yeah. Please don't bully us in the YouTube comments.
So
Some of
okay,
the YouTube commenters are so rude. It's great.
that's YouTube for you. Yeah, YouTube and
Let's switch map.
Steam.
I'm bored
All
of
right.
watching defrag.
Okay, all right.
Some
What map should we go to?
canals, B-hop canals.
Ooh,
Yeah, don't check
classic.
your email twice a day for release. Just join our Discord and wait for you to get pinged. It's
cancers.
very unlikely that if you're waiting in the current playtest queue that you'll get access to that. Just wait for a chance. Like you might get access to that, you probably won't.
Yeah, and it's again, we never wanted to turn it into this kind of like, oh, like you got to be hyper and like active and involved and stuff to like know if you got access or anything. It was meant to be more of just like a slow trickle to get everybody in, or like get most people in over time. But it turned into it could very easily be like a
yeah,
know,
we,
like,
we could have upped the
turned
numbers
into
before.
like I could see it causing a lot of negative sentiment because like I spent 3 months staring at my email and I didn't see anything where we weren't guaranteeing you to get in 3 months or any time frame, right? It was completely random.
Oh right.
So
yeah. But also like we make people wait a lot, which also like I guess
yeah.
they're probably about the same amount of upsetness. I don't know. I just
So-
jumped into a rock because I was trying to retweet shit.
Boulder strats, but all right, let's
Yeah.
move on to the next question. We got it from DerKenste. Post
Oh, good. Yeah.
Post 010.
yeah, you read it.
Can I accept to be able to port maps? Can I expect to be able to port maps even if I've never made my own map, or is it too difficult without prior experience with Hammer TN? So, no, you should not feel like you need to know what Hammer. Wait, sorry. Okay, hold on. Can I expect to be able to port maps? Yes. Sorry, I took that. I completely reformed the question in my mind. Sorry about that. Yes, you should be able to port maps, but the problem becomes if you don't know how maps work or like just want to kind of like randomly like do something like there will still be a learning process with porting because we'll have porting guidelines and things like that on our docs that you'll need to follow, right? We're not just going to accept like a rough converted BSP. We're going to have standards that we want maps to follow and like entities to replace and things like that. However, Lumper is going to be significantly easier in my opinion than learning Hammer or learning how to create a new map, mainly because it's a very specific tool, right? It has very specific functions of like entity replacement, texture removal, things like that, right? Whereas Hammer is a creation tool where you have to come up with kind of everything, how the map layout goes, entities to use, and so on. So Hammer is easy to use and learn, I would say, but like it just takes time. Lumper would take less time, I would say, than
there's
Hammer.
There's gonna be some cases of some maps that will need decompiling and some change. There's bound to be, and there's gonna be certain like can't think of a good example off the top of my head. Most maps should be like okay.
Yeah.
The core stuff you should know if you're going to be porting maps is still like what a map is and how it works a little bit. You should know what an entity is and just like the kind of basic things that like aren't complicated.
Yeah.
You don't need to know how to like make a big room or whatever, or like be editing brushes and stuff. But you should probably know what a brush is. Because I mean, maybe I don't.
Yeah, there's terminology that you learn from Hammer, right? Because we're talking about map files, right? So learning what displacements, brushes, and things are and how they're made is really good to know because then when you go to fix it or do something with it, you won't be lost.
My nose is people.
But yeah, I would say that Hammer, like the process of creating a map versus just fixing an existing one to follow specific guidelines. Yeah, like making a new map is going to definitely be more involved. I wouldn't say harder because it depends. Like you can make a really low effort map really easily, right? So whatever. But like, I would say that just editing a map. And then there's on the flip side, there are really, really huge maps with potentially hundreds of problems that you have to fix. And so it could be also a really involved process. So there's, I would say just in general, though, that using Lumper and fixing up maps is going to be easier. And you do not need to be a mapper to be able to do this, but you will need to be able to understand how the process is going to work. Sorry, what were you going to say?
A lot of it is just like things like tweaking entities. A lot of the time you won't need to do. The main thing I think we should expect is from people porting maps. If there's something you don't know how to do and you're just confused by, and like you don't have prior experience with mapping, don't just try to just do it. Like just give it to someone else to do. And I think we should be trying if you are porting maps, like, you should almost certainly be in our Discord, for instance, and like talking to people about it. My main worry with map porting is not so much that people do a bad job at it, but like they do a bad job once and then just like don't like talk to anyone about it or like try to like learn what they're doing. I don't want to discourage people from doing stuff, but at the same time, like if it is a map that has like genuine issues with like actual like map geometry, stuff like that, like you should pass it on to someone else and not just want to do it yourself. And I'm a bit worried that people will be like immediately, okay, I want to have surf classics in momentum or whatever, and therefore like immediately start trying to do surf classics or whatever. And like we don't. The point isn't just to get a thing in the game just so it's like sufficient for you to play. Like the point is to get something that's like sufficient for everyone to play and like does all the things right.
Yeah.
And so if there's stuff you don't know how to do, like in some cases you are just going to want to just give it to someone else to work on, or like ask questions about what I should do here. But like it might be cases where like there's just, I mean, it really should be rare that we ever actually have to change map geometry.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of anything off the top of my head. I think there is some stuff of like things that like just aren't like entity-based fixes we need doing, but like are just like genuinely like.
Yeah, it would
Really
be
someone has
Lumper's role versus like a decompiling and plus mapping experience role.
But just to be completely clear with what Lumper's doing, so when you're making maps for source games, you have what's called a VMF file, a Valve map file, I think it is, where that's basically like it's just text data in like a relatively simple format.
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Okay, I lived. The sorry, I'm trying to be hot and talk. Um, and that stuff that's like in quite a simple file. It says like where all the brushes are spaced and stuff like that, and then you go and you run it through the compiler tools, which are VBSP is the main one, which takes a VMF and turns it into a BSP file, the actual like official map format. That is a very specific format, like that's like not in any way like human understandable, and it's like they're weird. BSPs are complicated. But then there's also stuff that adds to visualization stuff and lighting, VViz and VRAD. But then, sorry, I'm really struggling to talk. Must I be hot? But those like what we generally want to do is because when you like decompile and recompile a map, even though decompiling is a really reliable process, like it's actually always been quite reliable. I think like got a bit of a bad rap, but for the most part, like what is it called? BSP source is like really solid. It's just that you have to redo lighting data and stuff. So things change. Like the map kind of changed. Like you have to rerun every compile program, and like stuff kind of can. It's not usually going to be a big deal, but like typically, especially for maps that are made by other people, like we don't like people like coming in, decompiling stuff, and then recompiling it, and potentially kind of like doing weird things to it. Like we do want, because maps are like other people's property. Like you should be as discreet as possible and do as little changes as possible. So the idea with Lumper is BSP files are really weird and have lots of kind of complex data structure in them, but we have a new tool, Lumper, which can edit those. So it can't edit like brush data, but it can edit basically the two lumps that it's really good at editing. There's other stuff it can do a little bit as well, but the main ones are the entity lump and the pack file lump, where entities are things like, this zone is kind of an entity, but that's a bad example. This is a static prop, so it is an entity, but it's not. A lot of entities like teleporters, for instance, those are entities. And you get brush entities and point entities, and they're weird. But you can change those, and those are quite simple. And so Lumper can edit those. A lot of fixes for maps, for instance, like porting a map like surf fruits, surf vegetables, older surf maps. They have like jails at the end and timers. So like you play the map for 6 minutes, then you fight everyone, and like you get a gun corresponding to how far you got. That kind of thing. Like we don't want that. And you can kind of just delete a ton of entities just to get rid of that. We don't care about removing the actual jail from surf fruits. Like, yeah, it takes up a tiny bit of like light map data or whatever, but who cares? Like that can we don't need to go in, decompile it, remove the jail, recompile it. All we're doing is removing the timer entity, all that kind of stuff. There are already versions of fruits that have been like that, but we might do one from scratch. We'll see. Probably not. Fruit fix or whatever. It's probably. But anyway, there may be some case like that. We'll see. A lot of servers, what they have is a thing called a stripper config, which is a way to add, remove, or modify existing entities, and they do it on the server. And it like every time the map gets loaded by the game server, it will run all this stuff, and then the clients will kind of see the corresponding things for the most part. Anyway, Lumper can actually permanently apply stripper config. So in the cases where we actually do have stripper config for existing maps, we can just apply it with Lumper and do all that work. But the thing that the stripper config is doing, which is like editing entities, Lumper can just do naturally. So that's entities. That's like the big thing. The other big thing is the pack file, which is literally just a big zip file. It's literally a zip file.
Yeah.
It's a zip file with slightly weird compression because Valve, where the LZ may compress individual elements, is very annoying. But it's a zip file, so it's not deflate compressed. Most of the zip files, if you make in Windows, it's using an algorithm called deflate. For compression, we normally BSPs, they're not deflate compressed at all. If they are compressed, they individually compress. LZ may compress everything. Who knows? KSF has been down for 3 days due to DDoS. Really?
Wait, really?
Aren't you?
That sucks.
Aren't you? I
That's
guess it's
actually
hard
awful. I'm sorry to
There's
hear
a lot
that.
of that, like, how do you, can you? Is it all like UDP based, like hard to protect?
You can put UDP servers behind Cloudflare, but yeah, that's awful. Yeah, there was a question in chat as well about will maps look ridiculously old? We do have something in the works right now that's actually in review right now that will upgrade how source looks. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll play at the old maps though. We could, but
yeah,
I would be against it. I'd rather the old maps look old.
Yes.
Better.
So that's the thing.
Runtime thing, right? That's a convoy you do. It doesn't affect your BSP, right?
Right, and it is you actually, I believe, need to compile a new map with new entities that we're adding into it in order to take advantage of the new system.
It's not RTX, but it does. What does RTX stand for? Anyway,
that's ray tracing, and no, it's not ray tracing.
But we are doing. It does relate to real-time lighting, though. So there's some. Wait, can we be more specific?
It is specifically how the lighting or rendering method.
Can we just say what it is? Or
yeah, it's clustered rendering.
Okay.
It's fine.
Yeah.
So we have a clustered renderer being added, which YouTube.
So yes, I was just about to. So the way that Source traditionally renders is called forward, which means that it's very limited in terms of lighting because the more lights that you add, the more that this specific rendering pipeline has to like work for each light source. So adding a global illumination or more real-time lighting is really hard. And Source, you've seen it. It's possible to have. They're called D-lights. It's possible to have real-time lighting, but it's really bad because it uses like CPU and like light map editing and stuff. What we're actually adding is something called clustered rendering, which is a version of forward. It's like forward plus or whatever, where it's kind of the same rendering pipeline, but the way that it handles lighting data is way more efficient. And so we could start to see maps with like real-time, real lighting in it. So, and then this is in combination with having a proper PBR shader and pipeline, which PBR is physically based rendering, and we will have assets in the game shipped with the game from Polyhaven that are very beautiful PBR textures that mappers can use, and we will start to see, hopefully, once we get clustered in. Another benefit of clustered, by the way, is Hammer. We can just render things as it would in game now in Hammer with clustered.
No, not now. That's the plan.
Sorry, not right now.
Yeah.
But
we don't have it yet, and we're not sure who's necessarily even going to work on that. Maybe Oski.
It doesn't matter who's going to work on it, but we will eventually have that. Like we want to have like Hammer be as close to the game as possible to reduce how much iteration mappers have to go through. Because while the tooling and everything makes sense for mappers right now, we want to just reduce a lot of like grinding or like a lot of waiting, a lot of annoying processes.
Yeah. So Hammer has its real-time lighting preview stuff that people have been asking for us for a lot. And we discussed doing sort of similar based stuff. So I believe the way it does it is really quite hacky and has to. It should be running VRAD constantly is the idea, or how does it do it? What does it do?
Yes, it simulates VRAD, but it's cool. It's a really awesome feature. But with clustered, we're actually able to just natively do that with like our game's renderer, like inside of Hammer, which is going to be awesome to get that hooked up. So clustered rendering, and then combined with all the PBR assets we're going to be shipping with the game, should hopefully lead to some better looking maps.
PBR custom assets. Like it doesn't have to be the stuff we're shipping. Like
we'll
have some of our own stuff, but there's also like anyone that if you are making new maps and you want to use PBR, though, want to do stuff, use PBR, that will be the like go-to shader to use, not like map generic.
Yes.
There might be some stuff that PBR still doesn't support that LMG does, but I think for the most part, PBR's all right, and we can keep adding to PBR. But yeah, we don't have anything to show off of this yet. I have a few like screenshots and stuff, but sorry, I interrupt Nick way too much. Thanks for pointing that out, Liz.
Just a couple of other things I wanted to mention about clustered. First of all, before anybody goes and complains somewhere like, oh, Momentum mod's taking forever because they're redoing the source engine renderer, this is not work that's being done by the Momentum mod team. We run on a variation of the source engine called Strata, which is a collaborative project between various different source engine games. And this is mostly something that is made as P2C, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is mostly something that actually P2C has been contributing to. I don't think Momentum has. I don't think any of our developers have contributed to this directly at all.
Right.
Basically, all made. There's a bit of L3 ops, but yeah.
Yeah. So it's all P2C, all SMAID. So big thanks to them for working on it. But in case anybody's upset that like Momentum is taking time on this or something, it's not actually something that we're like taking time on. It's one of the benefits of using a shared engine with other games, so that we're not reinventing the wheel 1,000 times over. Right. So a couple of other things with clustered. I think that in terms of old maps, this is all stuff that you would have to, like, I guess you could sort of force clustered lighting on in existing maps and ignore the light map data. I don't think that we would do that,
right?
Because older maps are designed with light maps in mind, so they're not going to be using. They're not going to be lit in a way that's necessarily good for clustered lighting. I think it'd be better to preserve the way the mapper originally intended it, but clustering can be really good for the mapping workflow as well, because potentially before we get lighting preview in Hammer, like ideally you could also just compile a map without VRAD at all and still have light and shadow in the game, because it's all provided real time by clustered. It wouldn't look quite as good because you don't get the indirect lighting that you can get with light maps, but for a lot of cases, it should be pretty good. So that's another really cool thing for mapping. And we're talking about dynamic light. It also, as far as I'm aware, includes dynamic shadows as well. So moving lights and moving shadows is a feature of this, I believe. I haven't played around with it yet.
Yeah, it's very exciting because the reason why Source looks the way it does is mainly because of its lighting, and like CSGO started to add a little bit more dynamic lighting with the CSM, and like the light environment casting kind of shadows that can be a little more real time. Source 2 is, I think, fully clustered, or I think they're forward plus still. Yeah, so they're still unclustered. So we're approaching that same rendering technology. But yes, thank you for pointing out that, this was not done by Momentum devs. This is just the benefit of being on Strata. Which,
so
again,
we don't want to take credit for it, and we also don't want to get yelled at for it.
Yes. Yeah, and it's going to be a lot of work in progress things as well, because it's a first implementation. So once we get a build that ships it out, we want to test, see how much it's hitting kind of the average player. But it's something that's going to be more kind of, I would say, like opt-in, because again, it's not free. We're not rendering like more lights for free. It's just more efficient. So it will still require probably not a GPU from 2008 to be able to play these maps. So make sure that you are following, you're upgrading your PC as much as you reasonably can. You don't need a 4090 at the same time, right, to play Momentum. We don't want that. We just want better looking maps that can have a little more realistic lighting in them, and this is something that allows us to do that, as well as benefit mappers by being able to preview lighting that they will have in their map as well. So
that said, maps designed for clustered will require a better GPU, because if you're designing your map for clustered, you're going to have lights that don't contribute to the light map. If you try and just turn the light map off, it's not going to look right.
So if you were to, you can't turn clustered off.
No, if the map is not compiled with those lights in the light map. This very well could increase the sort of minimum GPU that you're going to want to play those maps.
Let's go watch.
Yeah, but we're like so past to like current, what you need to run Momentum. You can run it on like a very old GPU and be alright, or like 10-year-old GPU. Like long as it's got DX11, it's usually fine. But like if we're a bit higher.
Are you not playing, Dylan? My bad.
Just to comment, major equipment will there be Source 2 momentum mod in the future? I think we can almost
Guaranteed
say with complete
no.
confidence no.
Yeah.
There's several
Valve
reasons.
will never give us Source 2.
Valve aren't going to give us Source 2 for one. Valve don't seem interested in licensing it out. Besides Sandbox, even if they were to give us Source 2, like offer it to us, there's not that much we gain from it. It's the whole maps would have to be recompiled and changed. Like that's like CS2 sounds like it's been pretty nightmarish for this kind of stuff. But there's not even that much you gain from this. For one, we're talking about these rendering changes. These are really low-level changes that can get like the overall quality of graphics in Source 1 looking a lot better. We're never going to get Source 1 to the point of being like a total rewrite of Source, right? Where it's like all incredibly drastically different or whatever. It will always be based on Source, and you can think of it as a kind of older engine than Source 2 from that. But like engines aren't like this like static thing. Like a more modern version of Source 1 is like
we have it.
A very different engine from SSDK 2013 era Source 1. So,
putting momentum
only, like,
from Source 2 would take us like 2 years anyway.
Yeah. Oh yeah, easily. Yeah, I guess some of the panel stuff we could probably reuse, but like there's not that much we even gained from it anyway, right? Of Source 2. With Strata, what's great is that whilst most of our focus isn't on engine refactor stuff, we do it less than we used to, and personally I'm a huge advocate of us avoiding it. I don't really care that much about how Source 1 is like internally and like engine cleanup stuff like that, because it is at the end of the day just Source 1. We wouldn't, if I was, none of us will ever make games on Source 1 again, I don't think. Like, after Momentum, like, it's not an engine you should be using to make, like, modern games, right? Like, there's other stuff out there. We could talk for ages about different engines. I've been doing a bit of Unreal this month. It's been fun. The blueprints are horrible, but it's cool in lots of ways, right? Whilst with Source just never happened, basically. But we're really lucky to have these changes, like with PTC being more of a kind of sandboxy game where it's focused on being a platform for people to make Portal 2 mods. They do more work when it comes to tooling and rendering and those kind of engine level.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's crying out for better rendering and momentum. And so we're not putting dev time into doing rendering stuff, but we are incredibly appreciative of the stuff we're getting from Smade and others.
I mean, but that's the thing, is like usually the people that care about graphics are usually not the ones that will be playing Momentum for that long. Because like if graphics are the things that you chase for a game, typically it's not going to be something that you want to it doesn't align with the goals of Momentum. Like the goal of Momentum is to be as accessible as possible. Having ray tracing and stuff would be cool, but like realistically we want to be able to have as many people play this game as possible, just for the sense of our global community. We know that there's people that don't have even like a RTX card now, right?
Like if we had the resources, we might do optional ray tracing. Sorry, I'm interrupting again, but like, sorry, you go.
I was just gonna say that like these things like clustered in that in RTX are nice in addition to what we already have, right? Like it's not a focus. We wouldn't have stopped all development to work on clustered, to work on RTX support in VRAD or something, but it could be something that we could take advantage of or have an option for people that could better utilize your and that's why we jumped to DX11, right? Like we drew the line with the DX version because DX9 is not only so fucking old, it's like 2002 I think when it came out. Like it is old. DX11 is like closer to 2008 when it was like that's like the level of graphics card that we're expecting now. But with DX11 we have not only way more up-to-date like documentation and things, but we also have like tooling that we can take advantage of for like debugging graphics issues, right? Render doc and stuff like that works with our game now because we did this. It was a much needed improvement to the engine that was going to not only benefit Momentum but any game that uses Strata, but like help us down the line. And also I think it helped us retroactively too with fixing some issues in like Portal's rendering and stuff like that, because we had a graphics debugger now. So it's just a lot of these like nice graphics and things like that is just like, it's just a giant balance of like, maybe even down the line we might add a map tag if we're doing tag cell, we'll figure it out, or some content warning of like, hey, this is a really demanding, graphically demanding map. You know, if you have lower specs, this might not, that like, we don't want to lock people out from being able to complete a map, but realistic, like it's like the balance between having these really awesome graphics and like maps that take advantage of the graphics that you could have in an engine like Strata, versus being able to support as many map or players as possible on all different types of hardware. AMD GPUs, NVIDIA, right? Like fucking Steam Deck if it's docked, I guess, because we're mouse and keyboard only. But that's really important to us, right? Like we want these features to be either optional or assisting, right? RTX in VRAD, when you compile a map, would be amazing, right? Being able to use the specific hardware in your chip to be able to do the lighting calculations way faster than your CPU ever could, right? Like that would be amazing. But that's not our focus, and it's like, it's just nice to have, right? It's the same thing with clustered rendering, right? We have all of these maps. People are used to this process, right? Clustered rendering is going to just be an addition on top of that to be, hey, if you want maps to look better now, you can. It's not going to change existing maps. We're not going to destroy, you know, mappers' artistic values or anything like that. But yeah, it's exciting, and it's but we're also very cautious about just welcoming in, you know, oh yeah, let's get this like really hard you know, shadow map, you know, solution that requires like a GTX 3000 plus card, right? Like to be able to do, like we aren't looking for that in terms of our game. And in fact, some of those features, if they are getting really demanding, we might not even include, we might, you know, toggle them off. So I just wanted to give my input there, because that's how I view it, right? I think clustered is going to be a great addition and be really helpful for mappers that are looking to get kind of more like real-time lighting and getting that preview in Hammer and things like that, but might have an adverse effect on gamers that might not have the best graphics, right? Like the best equipment for that. So
Look, I'm sorry, I'm trying not to interrupt. We are talking about Source 1 here. Like, this
yeah,
is an engine that is so old, and we're not talking about a particularly significant like performance decrease. Even if we did add like significantly more, like this is a game that, like, you know, graphics cards from, besides the DX11 requirement, like you can do like a mid-range graphic card from like the early 2010s. Like there's like capable of getting like really high frame rates and Source. Like
yeah,
even if we added like significant extra like rendering cost to stuff, there'd be relatively few people that'd be getting affected by it. And unless we are like actually hard locking, like being able to play a map at all behind this stuff, like it shouldn't be that big a deal at all. Like if you're on a,
yeah,
you know, 60 FPS only monitor, like that, basically, you know, rendering changes like this, it will stop people that are using like integrated GPU laptops or like
yeah,
just really old
yeah.
machines that like.
The
And
shit
I
chips,
appreciate that,
yeah.
that in some countries, like it's a lot harder and hardware's more expensive per, like, you know, someone's average income. And like I'm not trying to say that like everyone should have like high spec machines or whatever, but you know, it's the people. Occasionally, we get people that say, you know, they can't run like momentum at like a very, or like very very bad hardware where they could run like Counter-Strike Source or whatever. But like that is a big minority of people, and we're not committing to like ever like always catering for those people, right? Like if you are on a really really low spec machine and you're like struggling to hit 60 FPS like with the current game, like that's not on us. I don't, like, yeah, we do care about those people to an extent, but there's still,
Yeah,
like,
we're
if
not
you
gonna
end up
hold the
only
game
getting
back.
30 FPS on a map
Yeah,
like that or whatever, like we're not going to limit what we actually like
yeah, that's a
graphical
good point.
improvement stuff there. And I fully agree that we shouldn't be trying to go for like any kind of crazy cutting edge stuff or whatever. But like the main thing is like we're talking about like really old hardware here, or we're not talking about really computationally expensive stuff that we're changing. So I just
I
worry
think
that this
that we need
conversation gives.
to.
Hmm?
We would need to profile cluster rendering before talking about that, because I think it probably could be very expensive. I haven't looked at the implementation of it, but I imagine if it's similar to the cluster rendering that's being done today in like AAA games, that yeah, it could be potentially very expensive. And if a mapper makes a map where all of the lights are dynamic lights, that is the sort of thing that ups the GPU requirement significantly. So I think we'd have to see what the impact actually is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I know what you're saying about Source being fairly lightweight, but it's lightweight because it doesn't do stuff like clustered rendering.
Okay, but I'm saying that like
So-
it's not just that it's lightweight. It's like a very like long way behind. Like, we're not even talking like close to like kind of modern, like, you know, game graphic stands. Like it's way behind. So I'm just saying that, like, you know, if you're like average FPS on like if a lot of people, if their average FPS goes down by like a third or something, like for most games that would be a massive decrease. But for the vast majority of people playing Momentum, that shouldn't be like a impactful thing. Like most people are getting, you know, the game easily maintains 300 FPS and like on like, you know, pretty like not cutting edge machines by any means. So
It'll be interesting to see where clustered starts to draw like a line for a lot of people, because it's right now, yeah, people are used to the 300 plus FPS. Even some people getting up to 1,000 on some maps, right? But yeah, like it's an interesting balance, and I don't want to hold the game back for people that don't have, I guess, better hardware, but at the same time, yeah, like we have to have a realistic expectation around a minimum spec, right? We'll set one that's a realistic, like, you know, minimum spec that supports. Hopefully we can get like some test, or you know, somebody in the community that has hardware at that min spec and tests it, if it's enjoyable or not. But yeah, I like Momentum is not aiming to be Cyberpunk or, you know, something crazy with like real-time batch racing or anything.
Clustered is pretty expensive. We're still not even getting close to that ballpark of like AAA modern stuff. Like,
it will be interesting to see what clustered does.
Right now,
I just don't know the impact yet.
600 or something, or it's like it's like a low range Nvidia card from like 2011 something. It's like the mid space. Like, right, it's. What do we say? Do you remember what we say on our current thing? What CS:GO?
Our current min spec is the lowest DX11 supported card. So,
Right.
And that's not accurate, because I think we had that guy in our Discord that was testing all of the low spec like GPUs and whether or not they worked. I need to dig out that spreadsheet. But it would be good to do that again once we get clustered in and see like how they're faring, because I mean, when we start talking about generations behind, like 4 or 5 generations behind, how much worse are they being, you know, like for cluster? Is it actually impacting it? It'd be really cool to see that, and then, you know, make decisions based off that, as opposed to just kind of assuming or just like, you know, shrugging.
Right now we support about 8 generations, something crazy like that. Like it's like really, really old cards, like you work with. Like,
yeah, I'm not sure.
It doesn't go even further back than 2011 is because of the DirectX release.
Yeah.
And so, like, that creates like a limit there. But if it wasn't for DirectX 11, like the current like graphical stuff that we made, it's like cards from like 2007ish work. Like they go like.
Oh yeah, I mean, if we were on DX9 still, it'd be it'd be
way back. So
yeah.
Anyway, we've talked about this for ages. I think we should be ready to increase the min spec. You know, even a generation of video cards to.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, it's just so far back now anyway. And I think, but also because like it is still only DX11. Like you might get lower performance. Like, but as long as you have a decent. Anyway, we'll see. It'll be great to see what this is like behaves like on like a GTX 700 or something.
Yeah.
Because those are the kind of ranges where cluster seems like it's going to have an impact. If it is like based on what Smade seems to be saying in the piece, or like he was saying that like there's a small, but like I think he said it was a small graphic. He said it's there, but it's like anyway. Sorry, we spent an age on this.
But
One thing
yeah.
that I wanted to add is that a lot of players in these kinds of games don't care much about graphics, but mappers absolutely do. Mappers love having anything that helps them make their ideas reality, or virtual reality, I guess. But like Tuplis earlier was saying, for example, they care about like having multiple levels of fancy water in a single PVS, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mappers care a lot about graphical improvements like that.
Right.
Players might not even notice. Players don't care, but mappers really care.
But sorry, just to go back to the question real quick before we move on. So some stuff you maybe do want to have map experience to do. Most stuff you won't. The main concern would be if you don't understand what you're doing, don't just submit it anyway. Ask someone else to do it. Ask for advice. That kind of, try to be communicative with other people. I think the next question actually talks about this. Should we move on to the next one?
Yeah, let's go.
I just realized actually that this follows as well into this.
Yeah.
So, do you want to read?
Yeah. DerKenste, thank you for that previous question. We went completely off the rails, but we have a lot of exciting stuff coming down the line. So, for mappers and zoners, I guess. Anyway, they also ask, will there be a publicly available list slash spreadsheet to keep track of which mappers do or don't want to port their own maps? So, I would say, like, we could have a column on the spreadsheet that we'll be probably using just to keep track of porting status of all of the thousands of maps. But there's a level of like a mapper either doesn't want the map in Momentum, and we will respect that fully. There's the mapper that is around but maybe doesn't want to port it or fix it up or do anything. And then there's I guess also the mapper that is around and wants to change or port it or edit it or something. So it'll be off limits for porters until the mapper is satisfied. And then, there's the level of like the mapper is not around anymore, right? And I guess we would have an implicit permission to use it until I guess that mapper comes back or something.
Yeah, I think in those cases just to add to that, the goal there will then be to do the absolute minimum in terms of modification to the map. Like if the map isn't around, we really don't want to maybe I shouldn't slag off KSF, but I think Lodi brought up. I think it was Lodi. You were talking about a map that you were doing where KSF changed the lighting or whatever, that kind of thing. That I think should basically be a hard rule that we don't do, even if the lighting is kind of crappy. Someone that doesn't give permission. Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll see. But
if the mapper's still around, we're going to be talking to the mapper.
That's the thing. But if it's a mapper that's not around, and we don't want to give the impression that people have free reign over other people's maps, right? Just because you might really like some map and think, oh, I'd love this to look better or whatever, and restyle and stuff. I was kind of considering doing this with speed actually, and I tried emailing the guy and never got a response. And never actually did the finding for that map. But stuff like that, right? We don't want that. Even if you think it could look way better or whatever, we don't want that, and we don't want to encourage people to do that, right? So my conk speed thing, I probably shouldn't really be doing, and without the guy's permission, and I guess didn't in the end. But that's something we don't want to encourage.
Well, the original map was off grid and stuff. It was actually fucked up. It was really bad to play.
With Half-Life 1, it's a bit different. We might have some auto tools for that. I was wanting to put it all on grid and then actually do some restyling to it, and especially just because it is such an old map and kind of a kind of classic. Maybe doing some kind of remixes of stuff there in the future could be okay. But thinking about it more, I think we want to be very careful of giving people in the community the impression that that's something we want to do. So I think basically no one should do it, because then you just get people doing their own weird remixes of maps. And again, maybe if it's kind of replacing a map, maybe even the geometry is the exact same, you could have map in just leaderboard or something crazy like that. But yeah, we don't want to encourage people to okay, here's a map I want to restyle it, right? That's not what we want. Absolutely not. So
that's two really.
But
oh, sorry, what was that?
I was just saying too. Was just saying maybe with some old Fulbright maps, we'd maybe add lighting to those super basic stuff. But I don't know.
But that is a good point, and I also wanted to talk about Paul Endy's point as well. Is if that ever happened on Momentum, you can actually request to take down the map. we want to make sure that if the original mapper is around in any capacity, that we can try to reach out to them. We want to respect the original mapper's wishes about anything, right, for their map. I mean, obviously we have like map submission guidelines, so if it breaks those guidelines, that will be where we draw the line. But like, yeah, if an original mapper is around, we absolutely want to make sure they're aware. The game either has their map, has modified their map if we did anything like that. We aren't trying to do things secretly or just doing it for our own sake to get more VIP donations or something like that, right? It would just be to get, we want to support as many maps as possible and make it easy for mappers to be able to tell us whether or not a map should be on Momentum or not. So
we don't have VIP donations, to be clear.
Yeah,
that's not a thing in Momentum mod.
Right. Yeah, it is just at will donations for us. So if you like what we're doing and want to just support the team, you can donate to us. But it doesn't give you anything.
Those are donations, VIP donations. I don't think those should be called donations. People are paying stuff. You're selling a thing. You're not like
paying for features.
You can call it a donation if you like, but you're selling a feature there. It's not a donation. Don't care.
But yeah. So yeah, good point there. And then I agree. I think that in our map submission guidelines, we should have a good point around. You should make an effort to light your map. I mean, I wouldn't like maps to be full bright. Right, like, so if there are new maps coming in that don't have like really good lighting or something, that is something that map submission will ideally talk about or bring up in map review. If a lot of playtesters are telling you, hey, I can't fucking see shit, right, and you're not addressing that, that's something that we might like intervene or like, kind of not force your hand, but like tell you to add better lighting or add some more lighting or something.
Just to be clear, I think we have discussed this before, maybe on a Q&A. We're not, lighting will be required for a new maps. Like if it looks lazy, like you can put no effort into detail, like it will depend on gameplay as well a bit. Like if the gameplay is also terrible, we will probably reject it. Like we're not going to do it in a nasty way, but like it's common, right, for people getting into mapping, like their first few maps are crap, like, and that's just, I think, the case for everyone, right? Because like it's just most creative processes, you need to like
you need feedback.
Do the thing a couple of times first. Well, it's partly feedback, but also just you need to just do it and get better. Yeah. Like a lot of the code I wrote is crap. Like, when I first learned to play guitar, I was crap, and I still tried like play songs. Like because it's a learning process. That doesn't mean that thing has to be released.
Yeah.
If it's something that has really good gameplay but no lighting, we'll just say make some effort. At least add basic lighting. Do a little bit of basic styling. It's not at all difficult to put a couple of lights in, especially if it's like open map like this, right? It can be a big light environment.
Yeah, sunlight.
Light, you're fine.
Yeah.
I think where it's going to get kind of hairy is when you end up with maps that are deliberately made a particular way, and then people complain about visibility. But the map clearly has a lot of effort put into it.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're going to do in cases like that, because like technically there are some Fulbright maps out there that are very high effort maps, but they're Fulbright because they use like flat colors and stuff. Right. And some people complain about visibility in those maps, but it's not because like
no, those are fine. Those aren't. I mean, if the visibility is bad like that, that's the lighting is like deliberate. The only issue is like view models look worse, but I think.
But there are some people who despise maps like that and refuse to play maps that are like flat textured and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think at some point you have to draw the line of like if everyone thinks it looks terrible, and again, it kind of depends on gameplay. Like, if it looks terrible, but the gameplay's okay, you might have it as just an unranked map, so has a leaderboard, but you don't get rank points for it. But the one point there is that we'll be taking screenshots of your map. This is fun. I think we agreed on this. I was discussing it when I was streaming, and I think other people have agreed on this. We'll make the screenshot command that takes like an official screenshot that will actually always take it at 1440p, even if you have a lower res monitor source. Do an image like fully captured at a last resolution. Cool feature of source. Will reset your brightness. You'll have a default brightness. So if you make the map and you have a different brightness setting, when you go to screenshot it will look different. And we'll require that because the default brightness is fine. Like if your monitor's like really low or whatever, like you should still be making the map like.
Oh, I need to crouch. Sorry.
If it looks bad for everyone, and if you've had a situation where everyone uses like an increased brightness in source, so someone goes to make a map and then they want to make a kind of dark looking map, but they use like a super high brightness setting. So for people on default brightness, the map is like stupidly like impossible to see. That we will tell people to tweak for a new map. That's like one area where we will put our foot down, like artistically. Usually we want to avoid this, but if it is you're using a higher brightness setting than default and making a map that other people are struggling to see, that is your fault. You should be using a default brightness. And like stuff like the visibility is still quite but yeah, we'll make the screenshot tool to it as well. So like if you are on a different brightness, it will look different in the screenshot you take as opposed to looking at it in game. Then yeah. But sorry, to go back to the spreadsheet thing, I'm not quite sure how we will do spreadsheets for this. I think we definitely should. This shouldn't be a kind of back-end thing. It's just way too complicated to kind of think it's just annoying if you have like dedicated systems for like with dedicated code. So we want to do a Google sheet, but then you'd have to be careful of vandalism and stuff. But we absolutely should be doing this, right? Is keeping track of who's doing what, and we do want to make it so like if you do want to work on porting, like don't expect that like you're going to be the one that gets to port Surf Classics or whatever super popular map that you really like. With Utopia, Panda's doing that. That's his map. Panda's going to be doing Utopia and doing Arcane as well. I think Panda's actually talking about changing Arcane a bit. Like, nice, Nick.
I'm getting it.
So...
Damn it.
Oh, wait. Oh, Panda worked on Classic, didn't he? I forgot about this. So yeah, again, Classics is another example that would be up to Panda to do. Hey, Panda. I completely forgot that he put that map. So yeah, like the goal isn't just to do your favorite like super popular map. Yeah. But we do, not that we're saying you can't port the maps you like, of course, but like you should like So porting coordinator roles, exactly how we do it with kind of Discord versus Google Sheets and stuff. Yeah, that toast message at the top there. I think we should make that longer. Maybe we make the font. We make the
couple
font
new lines will be good
even
too.
less of it. Yeah. I can't wait to actually style that. That's great stuff. I'm really glad we. Why did we? Oh no, we needed C++ hooked up for it, so it's like a weird mixture of C++ and JavaScript. God, there's a lot of boilerplate for that. Yeah. So I don't know exactly how we're going to do the porting stuff. We will try to organize it. We'll try to do probably a Google Sheet. I think the main thing we'll really encourage is be in our Discord. I get that Discord is like a private company, and fuck Discord as a company. Don't pay for the show. That's just a waste of money. But Discord is really great for us, and it is our primary.
Oh, I got the thing.
Whoa.
By the way, that's 1 in 10,000.
Yeah.
I forgot we had that in there still. The yee. Let's go.
I think that's the second time we've had that on a Q&A.
Oh, did you get one too? Or...
Yeah, I've got one before, yeah. That was great.
That was
great. I love
great.
how much thing stands out. Like, I don't think I've... Well, I guess I wouldn't know.
Get specific height.
There are known yees, unknown known yees, and yee rockets. Anyway, I may have missed one, I guess, and would have known, but I think, yeah. When you see, you like immediately notice it. Donald Rumsfeld.
FOV desired 60? That's 90. I usually do 110. I actually don't know why it's 90. That's weird.
Yeah, we could make rare.
Oh, what? No, okay, hold on. Maybe I'm used to 90, actually.
We need to add a what is it? A metric. That's it. Every time a yee rocket, I want to see like how many yee rockets we're getting in Grafana.
It's an important metric. I mean, how many? I know.
Pretty random. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll get to the porting stuff more in the future. Porting and map submission is hard, right? Because it is going to be a mixture of these quite rigid submission systems, like the map submission system, right, where the whole back-end, front-end system we've written for it takes ages, got loads of validation, complicated stuff. Whilst the process of actually organizing people porting what, like that will be something more loose, probably using a Google Sheet, because those are the kind of things that are just horrible to do with dedicated back-end, but we just haven't decided exactly how we're doing the kind of Google Sheet approach. But hopefully, most porting should be really pretty quick to do. One thing in Lumper that we've not shown off on the Q&A because I've just done it this month is automatically removing packed game assets. Like it's the easiest thing in the world now. So getting rid of those at 0 time.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that too, because that's the packed Valve assets we want to remove, but we also want to ship community asset packs with the game, so that maps that use a lot of these like common like real world textures and things like that from Top Hat Waffle, using those assets will be included with the game, license permitting, right, or permission permitting. And then, you can just use that as a mapper because a bunch of other maps use them, but also, we get to remove them from maps via Lumper. It's very cool.
And Lumper all takes them because it just basically Lumper just takes a big load of the SHA-1 hashes of just every asset in the map. Yeah. And we've been generating this big old manifest file this month. The craftable time for helping with that. Another thing we get from P2C lot. Really useful tool. I mean, we had our own one that Slightly did like 2 years ago, and then Panzer was working on, and then we realized, oh wait, P2C has already done this and better, so we're using theirs. Anyway, Lumper is really good at removing stuff. You can do it automatically as well. Like you can do it like a command line as well. It's all, So a lot of this stuff should be really quite streamlined. It's just inevitably you get cases that aren't like, and in some cases, going back to the previous question, right? Some people that don't have any map experience might not know what to do that. And we'd really hope that you would then just try to cooperate with other people, just ask someone else to do it, right? It is from TF2.
This is Rocket Jump. Yep. You use a rocket launcher to shoot a fixed speed unidirectional rocket that goes at 1100 I think units per second. So you can see the speedometer turning kind of green when I'm around that. It turns blue and then green. Oh, let's go. Oh my god. This is probably a double. Yeah, okay. Or a triple, sorry. Double to shoot 2 rockets down and then shoot a
double, right? Or no. What are they? Who cares?
It's total number of rockets. If it's 2 in the air and 1 on the ground, it's a triple.
Okay. Should we move on? We're actually being very slow.
Yeah. Cool.
We've got a couple that are quite easy to answer and then a couple that are quite hard. Yeah.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you, DerKenste. We're going to move on to Skin's question. When it comes to style detection, how would the system work? Would it purely use the keys pressed? This is actually a real
figured out already. Like I know that like existing game servers do it, and I don't think it's that.
Yeah, I mean,
you just constantly check that everything matches some condition, like specific. Well, I don't know if there's some like leeway with like up sideways of like you allow a little bit of not sideways, or if it's like literally like a tick that doesn't up sideways gets.
Yeah.
I think Rio probably already knows all this, and Rio could just write it. It should be a very easy system to write. The complicated thing is just doing this in AntiCheat, right? Like we don't want to let the client decide if it's half sideways or not. So eventually the AC machine will just be able to verify what it is, or even just tell us what style it qualifies for. So it really this shouldn't be too complicated. But I don't know exactly how it works programmatically. But I think it is kind of a solved problem. I don't know. Do you remember, Nick?
I believe it's something that we can. Hold on, sorry. I'm making it so far. Okay, sorry. I believe it's something that we can. I wanted it to be something that you set where it's like, oh hey, I want to do a W only or something run, and then like we could just disable like the keys that you don't use or something. But I think Rio was talking about specifically it could be automatically detected.
That's what servers do
pretty easily. So I think we'll just have it be automatically, and it would likely be keys pressed. I kind of want both. I don't know. I would like to have both. Like also, why is my speedometer horizontal only? Anyway, I think that we could probably have both, but for sure we're going to have one that just auto detects.
Yeah, and I think the auto detection. Again, it's something that Rio's done. I think there's probably a bunch of people in the community that have done this. We could probably figure it out ourselves, but again, there's like lots of different timers and stuff. I think Surf Timer. I think it's open source actually. There's an open source Surf Timer. They probably have it, and like you could just have. I don't know what the license of that is if we want to avoid reading to violate GPL crap or whatever. But yeah, I don't think it's hard. And yeah, I guess if you do want to like specifically disable certain keys,
Let's
people could always
go.
make their own comments for that. Pog.
Big pog.
But yeah, and just to comment on styles. So styles was something we could have done for O10, and we're not doing for O10 just because we could very easily separate out how we implement it, and not have to, do it as part of O10. So I don't know O10 for that. But we have some code in place for it already, and we kind of figured out how it's going to fit in.
Yeah.
So we'll probably have styles. My guess would be like an O10 5 or whatever update. It'll be a subsequent O10 update, but maybe it ends up in O11.
We'll see. We'll roadmap things out. But
yeah, it shouldn't be. I don't think it should be too hard to do. The one thing that's really nice for styles is while styles I mainly associate with surf and bhop. The style system should be able to work for climb, where it comes to like pro mode, which is when you never use TPs, like the save locks. We kind of designed styles in a way that we should just basically stuff will qualify for styles, and if it qualifies for a style, it will be on the leaderboard for that style specifically, but it will also be on the base leaderboard for those cases. So a pro mode run where there's no teleports would be on the leaderboard for both pro mode and not pro mode. And if you look at the leaderboard for pro mode, and you'll see, like, we'll point out stuff that is pro mode. It won't change the rank, but it will, like... With climb, that'll be interesting, right? Because, you expect the faster runs to be the ones done without pro mode, because it's not failed at all. But, you'll see different breakdowns of different somewhere, like most pro mode somewhere. Anyway. So yeah, style should work well, we just haven't done it.
Yeah, and the detection, the detector's gonna have to go in. Any cheat will just emulate.
It'll be easy.
1100's the sweet spot. I gotta slow down in air, I think. I don't know how to do this one, but...
Okay.
All right, thank you, Skin, for that question. We'll move on to the next one.
Shall I read it so you can...
Yeah, go for it. I am playing. That's fine.
Blacky asks, will there be task tools?
Yes.
We've answered it before. We will, but like after 1.0.
Most likely after.
Yeah, we do... Recently we've been talking about showcase runs, which is, a run of the leaderboard that you can watch that isn't a... It's not like doing all the shortcuts and stuff. Like, if you want to just watch like an example run of the map, right? But you don't want to watch the rank 1 time, which has got all the shortcuts and stuff in.
Yeah.
The idea is a showcase run is just a replay that has it's done it, the kind of intended route, and kind of easy to follow. Where one thing what would be nice for that is if we could generate replays based on save locks. So if you go, or save states, so if you go back to a save state, like you can just do a replay and just save state it, so you can do everything perfectly, just one after another, right?
Yeah.
I think Rio, we've not done that yet, but Rio was saying it should be relatively easy. So the closest thing you could expect to task would be the ability to generate that. Though it's a little bit complicated there in terms of what we let you generate. That I don't remember the details of quite right, but yeah, there should be some way in the future to do that kind of showcase thing and do runs like that. But that doesn't. So there's a little bit task-like, but in some ways actually with the file that will generate, it'll be quite different from. Well, task. Okay, yeah. We'll talk about this way more in the future. I don't think
segmented and there's tasks.
Yeah. And when we do segmented, I think segmented would be a dial. Though I forget. Anyway, I don't think there's much more we can say about it, unless anyone else has other stuff that we've not said already.
But yes, there will be. There's segmented and tasks, like where you get per like tick, basically manipulation, akin to Batman task tool. I believe we were going to partner up with Batman for it, so we might be implementing just his tools into the game. But yeah, we gotta do a lot of replay refactor stuff first, which Rio is currently underway with. So yeah. All right.
Just to go to Tomato's question real quick, would showcase runs just be uploaded while uploading for Master Bishop?
Yes.
That's the plan. I'd like it so again, if anyone can generate a replay, we'd allow, like, in the map submission, if someone wants to just comment, do a map review comment, and add a showcase run that they've done instead of the base mapper, then that mapper could just change it to that. Would be the idea. And we'd allow, mods and admins to object to just afterwards. Once it's been approved, the map is kind of locked, so mappers can't edit really anything about the map after it's approved. But during submission they could, and afterwards mods and admins could, if there's a better showcase maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, preliminary runs of the map. Well, we could, but we'd have to pick one of those runs to be the showcase run. And so we could add support for that. I'm just not sure that is the way we'd want to do it, especially because showcase runs typically probably are going to want to be done with save locks. Even if you can no-fail the map, like if you want to get like the cleanest possible run, just like a good example, like using save states, save locks.
How am I beefing this up now? I was doing it so good. Okay, it's just my angle, I think. Sorry.
Should we move on?
Yeah. Thank you, Blacky, for that question. Damn it. Okay, that was good. All right. Stor nyhed. Is that how you say it? Sorry for butchering. Isn't strafing too reliant on hardware? Wouldn't it be better to be mouse only with an auto-strafing mechanic? No.
I spelled two wrong here.
I've attempted to follow this discussion in the Discord, and it's completely incomprehensible.
Okay. I don't agree. I actually, everyone's been saying this person's being incomprehensible. I think this person's been completely comprehensible.
Not that person specifically, the whole thing. I don't know what anyone is talking about.
Yeah, people seem very, very against this idea. To be clear, we are against this idea, but exactly why, I think this is a perfectly valid thing to bring up and discuss. So, I edited this down a bit. This was like a 3-paragraph or 2.5-paragraph question. I edited it for the slides, but yeah, the idea being that, well, some keyboards have like built-in null detection and stuff, or it's just kind of keyboards are just better at pressing keys than others. So doesn't that just give some players a more advantage than the other player? This is, I think, the simple version of the argument, right? It's like some players get more hardware advantage than other players, so it's fairer to not have these things to give a hardware advantage. That seems obviously silly. We can get back to that. I just want to say, I think a more coherent form of this, I think this person's kind of put forward is, if you look at how, for instance, in Surf, most people seem happy that we have nulls allowed in Momentum by default. Like, nulls are actually on by default in Momentum, and there's an option in Momentum to turn nulls on and off. When nulls are basically, if you're holding A and then press D, we cancel the A movement, as opposed to you just stop, because they cancel each other out, right? If you're with nulls on, if you're holding A, you're going left, and you press D, you start going right. With nulls off, if you're holding A and you press D, stop. And for strafing, that's a big advantage, both for B-Hop, Climb, Surf. It's also a big thing in competitive Counter-Strike, regular Counter-Strike, because of how weapon accuracy works. There's been a thing recently because Razer came out with some keyboard that has like built-in support for this, and there was this interesting YouTube video that seems to imply that, well, maybe that's not fair, but talks about how this is like this massive game changer thing. But like, there's Logitech keyboards that just have that built in, right? That's always been part of the discussion in Momentum with nulls, is that they are just keyboards that have nulls built in. And so one of the reasons why we think nulls make sense to just have enabled by default is that it is just built in some keyboards, and so you'd actually be saying some players can't play unless they get a different keyboard.
Yeah.
And Climb might be a bit of a different thing here, because with Climb, it's so important doing accurate strafes, but I'm really struggling to see the argument for saying like you should ban nulls completely. You could maybe do it in AC just statistically and just look for how often people are like doing perfect strafes and check that. Maybe we could, but again,
there are some humans that can trigger it, and it's like.
Yeah, you always get cases that seem like they are actually they seem inhuman at first, and then 5 years later, everyone's way better, and it's normal. Like, so there seems to be numerous reasons why that is a bit of a weird approach. Why I think we should allow null. This is very contentious. I'm not a particularly great player in any of these modes. I don't have that much I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out my ass, but I think a lot of people seem to be okay with null. And so I think leading into this argument from Stor Nyhed seems to be, well, we're allowing nulls. Like, we've gone from saying that nulls are like, you know, sacrilege and nulls, we should, you know, ban nulls or whatever, to saying, okay, it makes sense to level the playing field and just give everyone nulls. Doesn't that apply to more like aspects of hardware? And so I think because he's then saying, well, I don't know. Well, then why isn't strafing in general just like that? Can't you keep following that kind of same line of kind of certain mechanics evening the playing field out to like even it even more? I think that's like the best form of this argument that this person's making. By argument, I don't mean like angry, shouty argument, but just coherent, whatever. And I guess I think from their messages, it seems to also sort of imply, well, the nice stuff about Surf is the strafing, right? Is not it's the moving your mouse strafing, right?
Yeah.
Why not just like get rid of the keyboard aspect and just have the moving the mouse strafing? I think, by the way, this is what Catboy Zoom does. Shout out to Catboy Zoom, which is a game being made by Bray and Ethan, two of our team members. They're doing their own source movement based thing. I think we mentioned it last Q&A, which is on Unreal. Catboy Zoom is really cool. It's got a free demo out right now. Definitely check it out. I think they've done this. They just have a like auto strafe thing, and so you know maybe there's kind of a place for it. I think no in this case, but yeah, I think that was sort of the point of discussion. Like, why not just get rid of strafing completely? Given that we're kind of, I think on one hand the argument is, well, the hardware is like there's a hardware advantage that some people have, and then that's one argument. And then the other argument is just the nicer parts of the game mode are the strafing things, the mouse movement, not the AD strafing, the mouse movement stuff. Why not just focus on that? So there's kind of two different arguments for the same conclusion. To me, the first one seems obviously silly. Like, you know, some people are probably still using trackball mice. Like, there's other hardware things that are part of just surf strafing, or like the mouse movement, right? Like the quality of your mouse, the quality of your mouse pad can be really important. That gives some people advantages over other people, but there's just no way you can like completely even the playing field there, right? So we could do some auto smoother for surf or something, you know, like so yeah. And then okay, here's my hottest take, and it will make people angry. I've used a sort of similar argument that, just to be clear, I'm not saying is an argument that I'm actually making and endorsing, but I think it has some merit, is defrag and auto-hop. Don't yell at me. Just that, like, the parts of defrag that seem, at least when I'm playing defrag, that I enjoy doing, the actual strafing bit of it and trying to do the CGAs and snaps and whatever, right? That's the thing I like, and I don't like the jump timing, right? I'm not making this as an argument. Look, if this is the same thing that's been going on in the Discord, I don't care. I'm gonna keep. I'm not making this argument. I'm not saying that we should make this change, but I think it's still a reasonable thing to discuss. And maybe it's not very helpful to discuss just because we're not doing it, but I think you can still make like a similar thing if you're saying, well, to some people, defrag is more fun when you don't have to think about the jumping, so just have auto jump. And in some modes like B-hop, right, there is auto hop, and it's kind of, you know, I think defrag's fine with with buffered hops and should keep buffered hops, but that's why I bring it up, because I think there is still some comparison there. You can kind of say, well, why not just kind of remove certain kind of less pleasurable aspects of a mode to boil it down to the kind of really essential thing? And that, I mean, I don't think anyone wants to do that, right? That seems to be the best way to put Stor Nyhed's argument, that I think has the most merit, right? And I'm saying I think it's wrong for the same reasons that wrong for the same reasons that you wanna, that the argument that you should have auto hop and B hop in defrag is wrong. Like, people do like some of the mechanics, even if they're not quite as pretty as the kind of mouse movement strafe stuff. People do still like the AD strafing thing. Same with buffer tops and defrag. It does add complexity to the mode and increase the skill ceiling. Yeah. This is Nick playing around. That's why there's no spec.
This is all me, and I suck. I don't know what the secret is to this one, but
Okay, good.
Yeah, I know that like a lot of changes like this usually come from a community sentiment. I know that auto jump and bunny hop wasn't a thing for a long time, but then the focus just I don't know if it's you have like decades of like precedents, right? Of like this is how the game mode is and like how people have learned it and stuff. So there's the argument of you have people that are used to it that just are afraid of, you know, simplifying it because all of that skill, right, goes out the window if you don't have to time your jump or something like that. With defrag specifically, there is more of a mechanic to auto. Ooh, did I get it? Probably not. Dang, close though. There is more of something tied to time, you know, timing your jump to where always holding down space is probably going to be detrimental because, yeah, you're not going to get like the right, I believe it's jump boosting. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You just gain less speed.
Gain less speed. Gotcha. Okay. So, and I think that's a fair trade because, yeah, adding auto hop would, I mean, we would have to effectively remove that mechanic too because, like, unless, or we would just, like, people would just be okay with being slower or something. Ooh. So close. For my like perspective on like simplifying bunny hop, it would be really cool to remove all of like the like things that people would cheat for, you know, to make it focused on movement. But I know that that is not a game that people would want to play. And there would still be cheating anyway. So it's not like, it would just be really interesting to see like how the mode, like if you could simulate the next 10 years of like momentum and like bunny hop and stuff using this, you know, what does it really bring? What does it like really do for the mode and the community? Do people stop playing? Does it like rebirth the mode to people that were like kind of annoyed by having to, you know, like manually strafe and everything? So it's just an interesting like thought exercise in my head, but like realistically strafing is just like one of the core aspects of the mode. To move it all the way into, okay, now all you got to do is just move your mouse, that kind of just removes a lot of precedents that currently wouldn't make sense to remove. The same thing as defrag auto hop. If it gets to the point in the future where it makes more sense to like experiment around with it, add it as an optional thing, that's something we can explore because we have the ability to add, you know, either submodes or like styles or something like that, or just dicking around with things. We've done that a lot with ahop, right? Like we're messing around with just making things feel better. Ooh, did I make it? No.
Yeah, can I, look.
So, like, I am not opposed to trying things like this, but I know just having seen the precedents, it's the same thing as auto hop and defrag. There's just a lot of like more bad than good that could come out of it. And it's like you would like for a game that has to care about what its broad community wants, I think doing something like that and kind of like either forcing it or just, you know, not wanting to reverse course after we do it could be detrimental to the long-term health of momentum. Oh wait, there's a higher skybox than normal. Okay, it's good to know.
Okay, look, with something like defrag, we'd have to split leaderboards up. I don't think we'd ever say we're going to make the whole thing always auto hop. I mean, I guess, you know, those are the options. You could do buffer jumps only, the split leaderboards for buffer jumps and auto hop, and or just auto hop. And I don't think we're keen on either of the like, we just want to do the former thing of just buffer jump. We don't want to split leaderboards up. We don't want to do it for B hop either. Like, we could do a separate B hop. Just to be clear, this wouldn't be a style, to be a different game mode in this case. Well, I guess you could maybe say it's a style because one kind of qualifies for the other, but it sounds like it would be a different game mode. In the same way that like HL1 B hop is different. Like, it would be the divergence of like mechanics, so it gets a full-on separate game mode, all different leaderboards. Horrible. We're really not keen on splitting up leaderboards like that when we do it. I just wanted to point out one thing. I know I've said this before, Nick, but like, with anything, any mechanic, like I don't think how easy it is to defect with anti-cheat should ever play any role in the mechanics of mode. Like, if it's harder for anti-cheat, so be it. We have to work harder on anti-cheat, and maybe there's some stuff that is just fundamentally like undetectable by computers. You have to, or even humans. Like, I still don't think you should say like, oh, we're not, like, we should ever even consider not having a mechanic because it's harder for anti. Like, I just think that's a bad attitude that is going to lead down. Like,
I just thought it would be interesting to see like how it would affect cheats if like you effectively always had one. I mean, I guess it would ruin it, but then like, I guess that, I mean, it limits it down because like you think about cheating, right? Like movement recording obviously is always going to be an issue that we're going to be doing a lot of. That's where a lot of our anti-cheat stuff comes into play. Oh no, I didn't curve. But like it would be interesting to think about it. It's just not like that's not how I base my decisions. I was just saying that like it's a fun thought exercise to be like, oh, strafe optimizers are no longer an issue because we have one built in, and so it's like,
yeah, I don't think strafe optimizers are like B-hop losers. I don't think this is what the surf guy was saying. I think the surf guy was saying it should be like you don't have to press A and D. Like, you just move the mouse one direction and it immediately switches it to... Is that what strafe optimizers... I thought
that's
strafe
what they do.
Like,
yeah, strafe optimizers will automatically
they actually change the mouse movement as well.
No, the A and D presses. It's
just the A&D
I'm assuming, I haven't used one. I'm assuming that's what it does, but... Okay, well, we can talk to Rio more about that too, and Slidey. But I assume...
Yeah, Rio's our resident cheater.
But yeah, no, they do affect your aim. That's the, and so we obviously like.
Oh, they do aim.
I think you can. The guy making the case that you could make it so you don't need to press A and D, that is mouse only, sounds silly, but I think there's maybe some respectability to the argument. In the same way that I think it's silly, but there's some respectability to the argument that defrag should have auto hop. Is that like you're removing a mechanical thing that some people don't like as much, and you think that maybe because it even outs the playing field, or it just makes the gameplay more fun. But what makes gameplay fun is incredibly subjective, and why you're so concerned with evening out the playing field. Like there was a thing just before about in chat about auto hop in surf. Just to be clear, as far as I know, we will have auto hop in surf. It's just making it so you don't conserve all your speed. We'd have a speed loss for hopping. We're never going to need you use scroll hop or whatever. Like holding space will still make you jump. It will just be you'll slow down. I think but the question is then, do we make zoning certain areas that you don't keep your speed for? Do we make it so you have to zone areas that you can't keep your speed in, or do we make it so we have to zone the areas you can keep your speed in? Right. So some maps do have B hops on. So if you were to say, surf doesn't have B hopping. I'm not talking about auto hopping. I'm talking about B hopping, then conserving your speed through right jumping.
Mm-hmm.
Like making the B hop zones you have to zone an area that you can B hop versus making it so you have to zone an area where you can't B hop when you want to stop certain strats. And I think currently we are tending towards zoning areas where you can B hop. But we're not fully decided yet.
Thank you, Dylan. That's more like it.
I have my own thoughts on the whole defrag auto hop thing, but I don't think there's anything we can share. It's been done to death at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you can share your thoughts.
I think that manual jumping is such an easy, mindless thing that I'm not very sympathetic to people who just don't like it. Mm-hmm. I'm sympathetic to people who say, I'm trying to grind this map and it makes it really annoying to hit this double jump because I'm top 100 defrag player and I spend forever grinding maps. And I'm sympathetic to people who say I don't want a manual jump because it causes pain in my hand. But people who say I like this mode, but I just don't want to learn how to automatically mindlessly press jump with my thumb or something while I'm not playing it. Just spend some time building the muscle memory for it and you do it automatically. I don't know. I don't think it's comparable at all to strafing or anything like that either, because there's basically no depth to it. You just like learn the timing and you do it without thinking about it at all.
Yeah, I might. Okay, my thing is I just like the mode less when it without auto hop. Like,
Oh,
that's not me saying I
son
demand
of a
sympathy
bitch.
from it. It's just rip.
I thought this was the next stage. Oh yeah, let me just triple right there.
You'll get
Fuck.
there. You
Okay,
can
I'll
make
get
it.
there. We'll get there. We're good. I got the first part down. Thank you, Dylan.
But I'm.
Sorry.
People can like the mode less because it's a certain right, and there's not a matter of sympathy. It's just like the mode less. Anyway, we don't use the auto hop stuff. The only reason I bring the auto hop thing up is just because I think the arguments are kind of similar. That like, again, I don't think in either of these cases you want to get rid of AD strafing or get rid of auto hop and get rid of buffer tops and defrag. But there's still like I can see where the argument comes from. Well, why not just simplify the mode down into this kind of like easier thing? This kind of like it's kind of like giving you sort of training wheels, you know. I don't think we should do that. That's not what Momentum's about, and we definitely don't want to split up leaderboards for this. And also, whilst we could have, you know, there is a convert for auto hop and defrag or whatever, but like you really shouldn't. It's better to just use it, right, as opposed to like getting good at defrag with auto hop and then going to actually doing runs that can go on the leaderboard. And you got this. You don't got this.
I don't got this. I landed too soon.
When just do auto hop from the start, and that's what I've been doing. And I don't hate it in defrag. I just just slightly less patient with defrag. But I just think that same reason for just getting good at AD strafing, right, is the same. Just do it. It's not that. And it's not something that's worth splitting up leaderboards for. So.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, there's some similarities in the arguments for having nulls, and then it kind of evens out the playing field. But with nulls, it makes sense to do that because the playing field you're evening out is people's hardware differences.
Yeah.
Whilst with AD strafing, I guess keyboards play some role. Like a mechanical keyboard is probably going to be better, and I guess with some of the like high or low actuation, whatever they're called, keyboards, like maybe you do benefit from that a little bit. But like, that's not something where like we're not gonna. There's so many like hardware aspects that do affect it, and we can't. That's just how games work. There is like a uncontrollable
I hit that.
like unfairness stuff.
Maybe the future is having live tournaments with restricted hardware.
Yeah. But you know, we let Michael Phelps swim, and he's got like fucked up arms or whatever.
Okay. I didn't know he had fucked up arms. Ah, man.
But do we let him play B-Hawk? That's the question.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Phelps is banned. Yeah, fucked up lactic acid buildup.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That sucks.
Okay, shall we move on?
Yes.
But just to say, yeah, I don't think there's ever any question of us doing this. In the same way, I don't think there's ever been any question of us adding auto hop to defrag, right? But I guess the question would be, do we do a split mode? And I think the answer is unanimously no. We don't want to do that. But yeah, with the space thing like this, we wouldn't do that either. We don't want to do a split mode that doesn't need a keyboard. If you want to be able to be hot without a keyboard, play Catboys.
But yeah. Okay. Thank you for this question. We'll move on to the next one here. You can read it. I want to beat this stage so bad.
In the future, will there be something like attempt stats from KSF? So this is like the number of run slots you've done. Yeah, we discussed this a little bit recently just because we're a little wary of making them public and discouraging people from like doing attempts. I think it is something we'd track, but might not show people.
Ooh.
You don't like. There we go.
Let's go.
All that was required was we stopped talking about frag.
Oh, okay. I didn't think I was gonna make that. Yeah, so yeah, we talked about it internally. We want to track stats like attempts and stuff. We making it public is something that is still to be determined because we don't want to promote toxicity around either like just inflating your attempt stats or people like I don't know just being weird about it, like seeing like friends attempt stats and stuff and like feeling bad that it's taking you a long time to beat a map or something. I need to shoot more in front of me for that. So yeah, like that's the thing with like stats and stuff is like we can do a bunch of collection and that's what the site is going to be really good at, like helping display and show off. But it's just a matter of like what do we share by default? What do we make toggleable if we want to? You know, like so we can definitely collect these stats to have. It's not a problem. In fact, we're going to be going through what stats we should be collecting here, probably pretty soon after L10.
Right now.
Yeah, your total jumps.
Really pointless stats, and then don't collect some really important ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we genuinely don't have like the mechanisms required to collect quite a lot. I think run starts we do.
Yeah.
But like time played on a map, for instance, we don't.
Oh, attempt stats is global. Okay.
Yeah, so
I mean, yeah, we are going to have global map stats, like how many people have attempted a map, how many, like that is always going to be the case of like, because it'd be good to know like how hard a map is and then how many like unique completions there are on a map. Things like that are very valuable for somebody looking to play a new map that might be pretty hard. You know, you can kind of get a rough idea of like what tier map you want to get into.
For the completion rate, like in Mario Maker or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, and doing that anonymously, that seems like definitely something we would want. The concern would be if it's throwing per user attempts just to discourage people from caring about like the number of times they beat a map, something like that.
Yeah, apparently that is a thing that happens.
What, people don't?
No, I'm saying that is a thing that happens. Like this isn't hypothetical. This Rio brought it up as something that he's actually seen happen before.
Oh yeah, yeah. But yeah, in those cases, it would be a matter of not showing certain stats via the front end or the game, or even through public backend endpoints or anything.
Fuck.
We'll get there now.
I'll get there. But yeah, absolutely. And these kinds of stats are, again, very valuable to have as a mapper to see, like, you know, how are people doing, and then also just as a player to know really how hard this map is, like how many people have actually tried to get a completion on it and stuff.
A lot of these stats are free. That's nice. They're just easy to collect.
Yeah.
Some stuff is hard because how you like optimize doing like fast segregation of stuff.
Yeah.
And you keep just a run of certain stats as opposed to doing just like SQL functions, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Got a bench. Postgres for a place. What am I talking about?
Whatever.
So no, we will have time spent on maps. I don't know. Yeah. Again, I don't know if we'll make that public per user. I think we probably should, and maybe if people are really upset by that. I don't know. Like,
I mean, if we're counting AFK time into it, I don't think so. I think it should be.
Who cares about AFK time? I guess. I mean, we could if we want to.
Someone's just gonna AFK on a map that someone's grinding and be like, "Oh, I have more time on the map than you," or something. I don't know. It could lead to weird toxicity.
I think I think in some cases like that you can't overthink it. Yeah, if people do weird stuff with stats, fine. Stats are imperfect. Maybe we do some AFK detection stuff, but then I don't think we should then spend ages trying to make sure people don't game the AFK detection by, you know, doing plus left console or whatever like you could with CS:GO.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing. Exactly, Lodi, is we want to, and this is the thing that I really want to get in for 1.0, right, when these start bringing all these stats in, is actually collecting. Whether how we display it can be a future thing. The main thing is not putting us in a position where we actually have blind spots. And so that's one of the reasons, AC being the other reason, why getting a actual live connection. Right now, all of the way you interact with our backend is through HTTP, which is a stateless and quite expensive way to communicate with our backend. Plan is to be doing WebSockets in the future.
But it's scalable and protectable. So I hope WebSockets are too.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think anyone uses WebSockets. You know, I think it's, you know, because clearly they're not scalable.
On a single node that we're currently planning, I mean, they're gonna be
WebSocket, Nick, WebSockets. We're talking about WebSockets versus HTTP. What is it gonna like? WebSockets is some more complexity, but performance. Like, what are you talking about? We do it. We send a
rate
HTTP
limiting.
request.
There's a lot of things
Yeah.
HTTP gives you. For free.
And WebSockets have loads of that. If you like, it's.
I guess I haven't looked at
can't be
how
based
WebSockets
on
are set up. But
the whole. There's. I'm not saying it's easy, but if you go about performance, WebSockets is better, and it can be more complicated, but you do way less. I guess you're keeping more live stuff in memory at a time. You're doing far less processing overall, and HTTP for that kind of thing is silly, and it doesn't let us do all these stats without doing horrible jank mechanisms and HTTP based heartbeats. Ugh. Anyway.
I'm excited to see performance of WebSockets.
Yeah, a lot of it will depend on how we store session and how much of it ends up in
I can't
Redis.
curve off of it.
Um,
Is there something I'm missing? Yeah. How do I get off of a ramp? There's like no air accelerate in Rocket Jump.
But yeah, stats can be so much better. So much more we could be doing.
Yes.
Once we got the new run submission stuff going, we'll look at stats again. Like some of the current stats stuff we got, I want to talk through as Rio. But then it'll be post 010 when we start to really reorganize stuff. And hopefully it's not too bad. The main technical complexity would be, I think, what's Redis versus what's Postgres. How much like aggregate data we store directly in Postgres versus on request. The best approach. Shall we move on?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me change the question after this attempt. All right. Thank you, Blank, for that. Moving on to Caustic.
Will shitmaps be allowed for submission? Yeah, for the most part, it depends how shit.
Yeah.
If they're genuinely just like absolutely worthless, like there's no real reason to play them from a gameplay point of view, and they're just ugly, then some of that stuff will be rejected. In particular, like if you're doing stuff that is just clearly someone's like first map and they've already started working on their new map anyway, which they know is going to be way better, then like some of those like Bavi's first map, we don't want to discourage people. At the same time, I worry about like certain stuff being like, yeah, existing ports that are popular, those can be definitely worth having. But the main thing to point out is that maps don't have to be ranked. So with Momentum, leaderboards can be either ranked or unranked, where ranked gives you rank points, which like contribute to you have an overall rank point for that game. So if you want to get a high rank in Surf, you know you're going to be playing a lot of maps, and also you're going to be grinding the ranked maps, right, and trying to get good time on the unranked. Has a leaderboard still, it just doesn't grant you that rank point. So stuff that is just terrible can always be unranked. And I also think that like whilst we don't want to do like really just stupid maps, stuff that is just fun and like kind of silly maps that are still kind of fun to play and fun to like hang out in a lobby and mess around with, I think we should do. It's just they still have to be for their respective game mode. Like we're not doing like mini game, you know.
Yeah.
They still need to be for that specific game mode, and so that really rules out quite a lot. Like saying we don't want absolute like worthless gameplay stuff. Like it's a single surf ramp, like Surf Egypt we might have, right, because it's historic, and some of those really old ones. But if someone makes Surf Egypt today, you know, the two or three big ramps or whatever. I mean, maybe that I don't think that would be a map, just because it's like what is a linear, like, you know, like So we don't want to be super strict with stuff, but at the same time, we don't want to have just complete garbage.
No, I needed one more. I was like, how many rockets? Oh, there's probably another ramp.
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay, that was close though.
Those rockets are expensive. You know, you don't want to
Yeah, I gotta save. Gotta save. So close. Okay.
But yeah, so I guess the question does depend slightly on how shit, but
yeah,
in lots of cases, yes, they'll be fine. We don't want to be super strict with stuff.
If they're talking about the defrag shit maps specifically, like I think some of them could be ranked, but a lot of them probably not. We're not adding fucking that tractor map. Oh yeah, that was for submission. Yeah. But like, if we're talking about ranking specifically, sorry, I was talking about Quake 3 and Discord.
Yeah. No, there's some shit maps that probably could be ranked even. Yeah, I'm not super familiar, but I think that would be.
I think most of them could definitely be added unranked.
Yeah.
A few of them could be ranked too, probably.
Yeah.
We can always, if the
that
ship map is really popular and people are playing a lot, we can always rank and unrank, take an unranked map and rank it. What we want to avoid doing is ranking a map that is shit and everyone being like, "This is shit,"
and then unranking it.
Because then if someone's like ground a time on it, yeah. But something like Surf Classics, I mean, Surf Classics would be ranked. Like, it's a jank map. For the most part, I think the laggy ramp on stage 4 of Surf Classics is fine in momentum. Like,
I have it. I probably don't.
Oh, Classics?
Is it just one or two?
Yeah, you got it. One. Yeah, I think I have it as well. So...
I will beat that rocket jump map later. My hand's starting to cramp. Holding down.
I have the Surf Classics with me. I want to play it.
The BSP for Surf Classics one.
Yeah, can I have it?
Yeah, I got it.
Let's do a classics race. Let's do a little Surf Classics race.
Okay. Speaking of shit maps, let me get you that BSP. One sec.
Pog, thanks.
Classic TF2 version. What the fuck? Why do I have it in TF2? That's hilarious.
What if one mapper of the original map from Surf Classic says remove them? It's one mapper and it's out of like the other. I mean, I think we'd probably see if they have a reason for it in that case. Like if it's collab, like if they have, if it's just like don't like momentum. Again, if people tell me like I don't like momentum, I don't want my map in the game, that's fine. If it's a collab and it's like not clear why, like that seems a lot more questionable. But I don't know. It's we have to be very case by case. It's hard to say like completely, just like armchair.
I guess worst case scenario, you decompile, remove their part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Patch Lumber to teleport past their stage. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think with with removing maps, like I don't think people can legally DMCA a map from us anyway, right? Like I mean, generally we will if someone wants us to remove a map. But if it is like if they're asking you to do it for a completely stupid reason, then we have some reason for not.
6. Oh,
all right,
Jesus. All right.
Ready?
No, we gotta override. We gotta override to game mode 11. Oh, I don't have it. Bodied. I'm on the.
Yeah, we're not. Sorry. There's Mirror World. We'll do Mirror World.
Yeah, I did Mirror World. I got that going.
Let's switch. Next question.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. All right. Cool.
Okay. Oh, good. Right. Let's go, and then we'll talk about tags.
Yeah.
Go.
All right.
But sorry. I guess just to finish the ship map and also people asking for their map review removed. Like, I don't think there is a legal like demand someone can make of it for a map specifically, or maybe, or actually I don't know. With is like, but generally we'll do it.
Anyone can send a cease and desist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, but if they're the author, you mean? God.
Well, anyone can send a cease and desist about anything. But yeah, I mean, if you're the author of a map and you want to like be formal about it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, if it's simple of us, if we're hosting that content, I think people say like, yeah, this is thing.
Yeah.
For collabs, I don't know. Maybe we do end up applying collabs. I mean, it seems like so unlikely anyway. But yeah, I don't know. Oh, stuff like there is like random like pictures. Those would be. Oh, what is that? Okay. This is a very popular map. It's also not a good map. Um,
What are these texts? Oh, classic. Like Half-Life 2, Citadel. Oh, wait. That's right.
no, I don't think they are. Or are they? Maybe.
It
I think
looks
it's
like the
got-
monitors from Half-Life 2. It's like the background.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is, made by like, just like, like
It's- Is this stage 4? I don't remember which one had the
no.
buggy
I'll point
ramp.
out the one. I'm like
Okay.
right behind. I think we're like on pace.
Yeah, we're on
Or
MPB
like,
pace right here.
I do actually really like long maps like this. I get why they're popular. I just
Oh.
the big long maps. Right?
I love the little
Um,
attic.
Yeah, I feel like
Classic.
Dogger's on. Same place.
Wrong side. What? I didn't even know there was a wrong side there.
Yeah, okay, that way.
Oh shit.
No, this stage. This is like actually probably the best. This stage. This is like.
Oh.
Displacement ramps are probably okay in momentum.
Oh,
They've
okay.
fixed displacements significantly.
Yeah.
I'll point out the thing when we get to it. I know that it's not this. There's like all part of this. Oh wait, no, this is crap.
No, it's coming up. Yeah, it's I think I remember which one. It's coming up though.
There's something where like it doesn't do any climb prediction. I don't know.
Are we waiting on answering the question? I can answer part.
No, sorry. Yeah, do you want to read the question?
In terms of so the question, Caustic 1337 asks, will there be some tag system for maps? For example, if I wanted to play a rocket, slick, torture, etc. map in defrag, will I be able to filter that specific map style?
Yes. It would be very good. Oh, that's a long fall down. It would be very good to have our map selector have a little more finite searching for things within the game modes. Things like mechanics that we could also teach inside of the learn section as tags that we could, filter by, is very valuable for our learn section, right? Because like we could, like you could learn something in the learn section and then we could say, hey, here's maps that use it if you want to go and like try it out.
Yeah.
So mechanics and things like that, yeah, like if it uses weapons for defrag, things like that it's very valuable, because yeah, we want to be able to tie it in, not just with other systems, but being able to let people find exactly what kind of thing they're feeling. We haven't spec'd the system yet for
we actually did and then forgot about it.
Oh, okay.
We have a spec that I think I keep meaning to bring up in a team meeting. I was going to do today, and we just didn't have time. Tags, we kind of have spec. The thing that I'm not too sure about, tags we will do. The main thing is like having quite a finite number of them, and they're like selectable, opposed like you can just make tags yourself. I think with something like Twitch, like you go on Twitch tags and there's like random weird stuff, which is great because I can use them when I'm streaming on this life coaching. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think anyone at Twitch like added the poetry slam, or maybe they did. But with this, we want to keep like a discrete set of tags that you pick, and we can always add more. Okay, I've got to the weird stage. The thing that I was really keen on for this was tiering tag.
Oh.
So you can tag something as having spins and stuff, and tier it relative to the map's tier. If it's a tier 3 map, but it has like hard spins, or like easy spins, then you can the difficulties like option. I'm not sure if we're going to do this, if we ever quite agreed on how we were going to do it. I have some details for this. We also just have like YouTube recordings of team meetings. This is the stage, by the way. I think this.
Yes, it is this ramp.
No, I think there's the ones after it are even worse.
Right
like
here.
Are these displacements or something? Is that why they're laggy?
No, it's a stage a bit on this.
It might be this one. Look at that, butter smooth.
No, this is fine. These are normal. I mean, there's.
It's these. It's these things. Yeah.
This. Yeah. So I guess that are they dynamic drops?
They're completely. Yeah, I think they're
So for us, they're fine. If you play this on a server, they'll like lag. But I feel like it feels like it's climb prediction, not like running. So it's just like. But yeah, these behave.
These stages, dude. Oh my god.
Okay, this is like the actually good bit.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm gonna try to overtake. I was like, wait,
I haven't played this map in like a decade, so
sure, buddy.
we're
Sure.
I mean, I could look up the file date on the map. It's probably like 2016.
This is why we need voice chat.
But yeah, so yeah, tags on maps with an old what was it? It's like there's a tier, but it's optional because like some things like has rockets or something
Yeah.
isn't gonna be tiered.
Yeah.
So yes. Oh.
So
What do I?
the tier wouldn't be like a 1 to 10 tier. It would be like easy, hard, medium, and it would be relative to the actual overall tier of the map.
Yeah.
I think that was the idea. I'm not sure if that's exactly what we'll go with. We need to talk about it. I really like that idea, and I want it to work.
Yeah, because it's how much that tag affects the difficulty, or like plays into difficulty.
Exactly. Yeah. So some surf map might have like easy spins or whatever, but like I don't know, surf like what is it royal? What is the one that has like super easy until the last stage? Horrible. Oh, like Syria again. I don't know if that even counts as a spin, but in a way we don't want to like spoil maps. Say like completely. They're like I don't know. But yeah,
the showcase run is going to be right there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I really like the idea of tags. I do think they need to be a discrete set for each game mode. And we can always add additional tags in the future. I guess then we had to retroactive. But I think like, for surf for instance, like
all right, that was an intentional head hit.
Spins, like, there's going to be like a decent number of things you could. Yeah, I don't know. I think we can get.
I think in Rocket Jump, a lot of people just want to filter out any map that says hard wall pogo.
Exactly, right? No, genuinely, I would do that. I have no interest in wall pogo.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, hard wall pogo is super nice, right? Because you can be like, okay, I'm playing a tier 3 rocket jump map. But if it's hard wall pogo, I don't want to play that. If it's easy wall pogo, fine. Or just wall pogo, it's maybe okay. But like, if the thing that's like the hardest tag is for, I guess you could then be like, okay, does it ever make sense to have like every tag be hard? Okay, because then, like maybe it should be a higher tier if every tag it has like. But I don't know. Like, I think that system makes a lot of sense. If we all like that system, then great. Because then we maybe don't need to discuss it in the next team meeting.
I think the only thing that's a little weird is like, what if you have like a tier 2 map that has a wall pogo in it, but that's the hardest part of the map? Does it still get tagged as hard wall pogo, even though the map is tier 2?
Oh yeah,
that would make sense.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I mean.
Would figure it out.
That's the thing that's hard. That's saying it's hard relative to the map, and I think that's relatively obvious to users, hopefully, or maybe not. Maybe it will. If it confuses them, they're wrong, or they're just.
Oh, we did it! Fuck! I slammed into the wall. Oh.
Did you just say slimed into the wall?
Yeah, I slammed into the wall. No, I slammed it. Yeah, but in that case, if it plays into why it's tier 2, I would say hard. But it's
I think that can be quite a bit of sense. We might just do icons for it, or we call it hard in like some UI, but like for most UI, it would just be like or just a color. I don't know.
Yeah. People understand their 3 colors.
Good. No, I don't. I really don't like per tag tiers or like numbered tiers. Like you say, like, oh yeah, this is tier 3 wall pogo, but tier 4, whatever. Yeah. The one I think doing that accurately is going to be super hard. But I think if people can broadly agree on or get some degree of consensus over, which is just another way of saying broadly agree, over the tiers of the map is, then they can probably. Oh my god, there's a stage. I forgot I'm on Mirror World. Am I on mirror mode? I think I am. God, that's upsetting.
Oops.
God, I do quite like this one. It's just long, long, easy. Like, I have more fun, like, grinding, like, 10-minute long surf, like, a tier 1. Like, that's just fun.
People play momentum for different reasons, right? Like,
No, but I
It's
think
gonna
this,
be
this map is really popular. I think this is fun.
Well, Panzer, can you fix the fucking booster on the stage when you port it? It's failed for me like twice now. Is it? Oh, okay. Bunny hop stress. Let's go.
But yeah, but so yeah, rocket, slick, torture. I don't know quite what torture is for defrag, but yeah, that sounds like it would be basically it. So yeah, you'd say the weapon type,
Ugh.
things like slick, all that kind of.
I'll send you a video of a torture map and you'll understand instantly.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I think that's broadly what we want from tags, and this is like one of the few remaining things for map submission that I've just not done yet.
Oh, it's not your
I
map. I
think
thought
this
you
is
were
what-
gonna port it. Sorry.
Oh, I thought you put this like organ.
Oh, wait. Do I not go?
Oh, I'm on the last stage. This is this from what's it, XIV? What's that? 14? Like the best old surf map. Yeah, happy. The merch we sell from them is going to be a plain blue t-shirt. Great. Do we get queues for translators? Yes. But right now we don't need all that many translators. We'll have more stuff for O10 soon. They're not all that much. When we finally do learn properly and finalize like. But yeah, that's tagged. Tags are. I think that's basically what we're gonna do. Um, I don't know how we're gonna do those in DB if we actually. I think for that, we actually will do it in Raken Jason. The unlike actually, I want
I got the blue album drip right now.
Or maybe we'll just. Yeah. So tags are fun.
Oh, that was ridiculous. I should have just turned all the way around. I haven't played this in so long, but I like vividly remember each of these. I mean, it is inverted, so it's probably throwing a lot of people watching off as well. But like, it's still just the styles.
Are you in your world right now?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Huh.
There we
Well,
go.
I'm done. I'm the world's greatest surfer.
Nice. You're a classic surfer.
Oh, it's actually got credits on the end. I didn't realize. Credits. Nice.
Okay, hold on. Next question.
Question.
By Uberosh.
Are there any rules for live stream usage, e.g., subtitle in English? I rewrote this, sorry, but.
That's fine.
No,
No.
not really.
Just
Because
make sure
this
you're
is a
streaming the
Twitch category.
game. Please do the
Yeah.
game and not a Counter-Strike 2 match or something. Please
Yeah,
don't.
if someone's doing that constantly, we'll ban you. The bot has a list of banned streams.
Yeah.
But like, how it's still your stream, right? If you're streaming in the Momentum mod category and you are playing Momentum, then
yeah,
like, of course, again, all it does is just look at like Twitch stream in the Momentum mod category. It doesn't nothing more than that. It would be ridiculous for us to say, yeah, if you're streaming on Twitch, do the title in English. Like it's a Twitch stream. It's your stream, you know.
Yeah, that's fine. If you're playtesting between, I mean, mappers usually are fine, because it's usually a map.
Yeah, I mean, I stream dev stuff like loads of the time, and that's fine.
Yeah.
The Momentum mod related stuff.
Yeah, if it's that's
we're
I
talking
think
about like, changing the bot so it will always pick up the stream on this channel, even if it's a different category. So then it could be like software and game development when I'm
yeah.
streaming. But that would require editing the Discord bot, and I can't be asked.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I don't think anybody's really paying much attention to what our bot does anyway. So.
Oh, I use the live time ping.
Yeah, the roll.
Yeah, that really helps.
Yeah, in general, we just want to make sure that people are being nice and not abusing it. But we'll just take it.
Yeah,
okay. What the fuck?
If we see someone like doing something really offensive on stream, whatever, we'll ban them from the Discord bot. Like there's a stream ban thing. I think we have like 4 stream bans or something.
Yeah,
it's not
it's
many.
really low.
But generally, yeah, anyone that's streaming Momentum on Twitch, like, it's not up to us to say what should be doing or like.
Yeah, and if you start streaming Momentum and then you switch to like Counter-Strike to like go back and forth for maps or something, like it's pretty obvious that when you started the stream you were probably playing Momentum. So I don't
Oh
think
yeah,
anybody's
yeah,
gonna
we get
care.
that. Yeah, like, not a big.
Yeah.
Again, the bot is ultimately just saying it's doing a Twitch category. Like, it's not just because we have that bot ourselves doesn't mean we should be able to like dictate stream stuff that much. The only thing is like, yeah, just we appreciate it if you change game and stuff up.
Fuck.
We move
Got
on.
spined. Yes.
Yeah, I really like this. This is part of. I think this is a CSS map. 6. From XIV, which is a great.
The one I'm on
Like
right
the
now,
surf,
or
yeah, this one.
Yeah.
From like a surf mini game where at the start you have to like race to get to this center bit. The first player that gets there gets to go up to this room above everyone else where they pick like the map you go to, and it's like I guess 14 maps.
That's crazy.
In one, and so it TPs you to that. So a lot of them are just like combat surf, like little arenas and things. But then, and this one is like kind of skill surf. But whoever gets to the end, like it TPs you to the jail and shoot everyone. I love that shit.
Yeah.
it's such a good map, and I used to play that so much. I miss combat surf. I really love those like hybrid ones. Like when combat surf is just never something Momentum's gonna do, but combat surf is still really great.
What? Huh? What happened there? I like sort of ramp bug? That was wild.
You got a splinter on some plywood.
Stubbed my toe. Interesting. I mean, that's something that we could try to fix. I don't know if that's our ramp fix or something, or just something random. Oh no, this is gonna be like impossible now. What? Okay, hold on.
You can choose the start, boost it. Just hold jump.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's way better.
Just.
All right, let me stub my toe again real quick. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right.
Very cool map. Where are we at?
Oh, did we get to the end?
We got 20 minutes.
Left. We have some more questions.
Yes, that's right. We got Cray.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're still here. Asking how big the Momentum mod team is. So the number kind of fluctuates over time. In fact, the current number on Discord isn't really accurate either. In terms of people that either actively contribute versus like actively, hang out and join the meetings and stuff. Something that we will be doing after O10 is kind of clarifying people's roles and stuff. Seeing, interests from people that were once on the team that haven't been around in a while. So I can't give exact numbers, but it has always been for the past like 5 years, right? Around 15 to 30 people. And I mean, that sounds like a lot, but keep in mind that this is people that have different abilities, different time, availability, different skills, different abilities. Availability. Sorry. Different time availabilities, time zones, right? Skills. They weren't always around. They joined to do one thing that maybe wasn't ready or didn't really have a lot of dev effort behind it because we were focusing on O10 or something. So there's a lot of kind of like where, like the members on the team are just like, what does it mean to be on the team? And what we ended up clarifying for it was just people that obviously really care about Momentum as a project and have an aspect to contribute to, whether it be moderation or like moderation, porting maps,
mapping,
developing artistry. Like we have so many different aspects that people could contribute to, and like it's really just like having a field like that, being able to apply it to momentum, and having passion towards the team and the project, so that we have effectively, right, like people that understand it takes time, but will, you know, be patient and keep us updated if they are doing any work, because that's what our Saturday meetings are really all about. So
Yep.
like
Yeah,
right
but-
now, I'd say we have like 20 team members. I mean, it's of varying degree. Some people haven't been around in years, that I guess I'll reach out to, but they're still in the server, obviously, so they still have some relation to the project. But really, just after 0.10.0, it'll be kind of clarified. We'll have, you know, the credits properly set up and everything for that. So yeah, it's around that, but I don't want to say 20 and say like, oh hey, it's 20 developers all working on the same thing at the same time, or like anything like that. We have 10 licensed devs. Of those 10, roughly, you know, 5 are currently actively working, including us 3 here, Lumia and Tom and me.
I don't think that's not right. We have more licensees than that and more active work.
More than, well, okay, that's fair. I would need to get the exact
I think we have
number, but it's
14
not.
licensees. And of that, about half of them are active.
Okay, yeah, that sounds about right, actually. 14. I guess I'm,
Yeah,
yeah.
I wouldn't really consider myself super active either.
No, you're active.
Yeah, I
It's
put
being
in a
around.
request every 3 months.
But
No,
and it's not, yeah, it's not like a matter of like, oh, you have to be active to do things. It's just a matter of seeing what everyone's like thoughts and priorities are towards it. So
sorry, the one thing I just want to point out is we do have quite a few people that, like, in terms of credits and stuff for the Momentum team, we have a lot of people who have been on the team in the past who've done really significant things that, like, should definitely be significantly in the credits in the future. We also do have some people on the team who are not active right now and, like, have the Discord role, but, like, in practice on the they are around maybe occasionally, but, like, there's not, and they probably won't be. I mean, some of those people they might become more active before 1.0, but they probably won't be in the, like, final on the team credit, right? I mean, Happy, you're around. I mean, we've got some people who, like, would never show up to anything, or, like, have our Discord server on mute or whatever, that still have the team role. But, like, again, but some of the people have done major stuff in the past and just should significantly be in the credits, right? Like, but there's loads of people that have been. Momentum's been in development for years. It's had, like, a core team for how long? Like 9 years or something? Like, even amount of time?
I was like, this map is fucking weird as a sticky jump. Sorry, alright. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just went the exact wrong way. Oh, it's Mirror World. I was wondering
But
why
you don't know what way you're going anyway.
Yeah, I know. I just, yeah, it's funny that there's.
But so what I'm saying is, like, there's people that should be on the credits as past team members or whatever, right? That fully deserve to be on there. Average Gravel, Alex Nerdman. I mean, could reel off people. And probably some of the current team members will be in the credits of that instead of, like, current team. I'm not sure exactly how we're doing that.
Yeah, we'll probably have past team members, past contributor.
We definitely should. I'll get really upset if we.
Yeah, we will. Yeah.
The
it is still 350 keys, but a week. But we are obviously full steam ahead on 0.10.0. So, like, realistically, you're going to get in at 0.10.0.
Everyone's getting access to 0.10, and you almost certainly won't get access between. So
it's going to be rare, but we are still doing 350 a week. But yeah.
God, why was it that, like, it was harder making stickies less visible for ghosts? I don't remember.
No, they're less visible. It's just the particles.
Maybe because I've got trails and particles.
Yeah, the particles are.
We need to do that.
Yep, a lot of stuff like that for, like, lobbies and cosmetics and stuff will be tweaked over time. I mean,
I think I can send some of the stuff. It's bad default. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Because a lot of the features are usually like introduced. Yeah, they're usually like introduced, and then we're like, oh, this is actually not great. But then because it's like an archived var, it doesn't. It doesn't like get set for everyone that had played before. It's only new players that would have the new default, or people that unbind all.
Well, we have the convar override stuff. Start using.
Yeah, that only came
yeah.
for like 2 years, a year ago. Yeah, so
yeah, once we clean those up, we can really make use of that.
I mean, we're likely going to because it's a completely new app, right? For oh, it's this jump. Okay, shit.
We just need to do like version CVARs. Like every time we need to change one, we just change the name, have like a 3 at the end or something. And 4 and 5.
Does this take that?
Yeah, no, the versioning thing is like super. The new thing is do everything.
I'm gonna head out and get some dinner, but I just wanted to say I hope that next Q&A will have a lot of cool stuff to show off for everyone to know. Because there's a lot of cool stuff that's in the works right now, but it's probably a few weeks out from being ready, so just not ready for this Q&A.
Yeah, there's more stuff we could have shoehorned in, like, for the sake of it, but, like, it would take dev time just to get stuff for the Q&A that, like, nice to have, but...
Anyway, I'll see y'all later.
Later.
A lobby with someone with ridiculous ping is just they and you look jittery to each other.
It doesn't affect your overall movement.
Actually, I don't... Let me think. If ping is really high, all that means is that just the actions they're doing, like assuming that you have like a good connection, you're not dropping packets. It's actually going to be pretty smooth. It's just delayed because it's
exactly that.
It's just your ping, right? Any new maps being added soon? It's not our priority because we're redoing.
We're not adding maps until O10. Once O10's out, anyone can submit maps, and we've got the whole new thing there. Yeah, the main thing you'll notice is if you're in voice with someone, like they'll say like, oh shit or whatever, and before you see them fail, more when they're on a high ping. And unfortunately with Steam Relay, because there's a Steam server between you and them, which I think you can disable if you both have it disabled. I think it might be that you can turn this off in Steam and it will like expose your IP address, but like be a direct connection, which we haven't actually tried, but we were looking into the other day. But yeah, it should just be a delay, not chopping. And then yeah, regardless of how high other people's ping are, you always have 0. This is just the advantage of like you get all of this stuff for free just because you don't need that server keeping everyone in sync with one another. That's why lag's occurring, is that like you can't let like clients be. You have to do extra station because everyone needs to be like then yeah, so new maps getting added will be O10 till then really. We did a few for fan games, but that was it. Then there were like 2 more questions. Q&A live. Wait. They seem quite easy. Will XP unlock, for example, chat, emoticons, username, colors, effect? Chat stuff is a bit harder to say. We'll definitely be showing your level like in lobbies and stuff. Like if you go on the lobby page, we'll have people's level. I like the idea of doing chat unlocks, partly because I'm more and more skeptical of cosmetics. Like I think we'll do cosmetics, but like we're probably not gonna have that many. And like certain things of like name, color, and chat, things like that could be quite nice. Though in some ways, like some of that we do probably want to let you just do for free. Like changing the color of your you know, like the blue color on Nick's sticky launcher right now, like just letting people set that, right? Just with a color picker. I think we just do that for free. Like by free, I mean none of this is ever paid, but like you don't need to spend like cosmetic points or whatever. Like it's just you can just change that, and then it will like show for other people in lobbies, which we'd want to do once we have what do you call it? Player model actually fully hooked up as well. So the player model color would change. That we've been keen on, but yeah, for like chat name colors and stuff, I'm not sure if we'd want to do that. Partly because like eh. But anyway, we can do the level stuff. I think we can show in chat. I think we just show the level rather than like let you unlock like a color for your name, right? Seems better because like it doesn't really make sense to spend stuff on that. I don't know, like we do
cosmetics have to
be
as well. Like cosmetics have to be something that you could do things locally always. We're never going to prevent you from doing that because we're not making money off of cosmetics. But like it has to be something that you can show off and have it be a meaningful thing that you can show off, usually around other people. So there's your chat, there's lobbies, there's your replay. So there's like things that you use in a run or do in a run, trails, things like that, right? But yeah, like realistically, like colors and stuff are usually where we start to go, okay, like that should just be free. That's not really something that you unlock. Or it's tied to like your skill, something like that. So yeah,
I just think it's much better for sorry,
yeah, it's just the cosmetics are going to be more akin to like something that you grind for that you could like now show off in runs and stuff.
But the thing to show off, like the primary thing to show off to my mind will be your level, right? If you're in a lobby, you can see the level of every player, so you can see if someone is like a super high level. That's impressive in itself, not the fact they've got some random like cosmetic or whatever. The main issue with cosmetics is just that like, unless you make cosmetics incredibly expensive, such that like new players like feel like completely like missing out from the cosmetic system, like you just end up with everyone that has every cosmetic unlocked. Because some people just play the game so much. People put hundreds and hundreds of hours into them, right? Even before release, people put hundreds of hours. So if you have a cosmetic system that like is cheap enough that new players can like get something after playing for, I don't know, 5 hours or something, then everyone has that stuff, and so it just becomes worthless, and just everyone has a givers. No one's impressed by your giver. But like with the level indicator that we'll just show in chat, right, which just has like the prestige icon, level, and the color that changes, you can just see that for everyone, and that is in itself the thing that like is nice to have increment, right? Yeah, be chatting in the like lobby pane when you go to like, you know, if I look at the lobby thing, it's got Connect lobby, I can see everything it would have you just to be next to your name there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Lodi said, if you can personalize, then being worthless is kind of okay, I think. Though you still kind of completely worthless seems a bit But just how long it takes us to get to the number of cosmetics that you can personalize, I think, take a really long time. So I'm not saying we don't want to do it, or it's not my decision. I'm more anti-cosmetic than I think other people on the team. It's just getting to the point where there's enough cosmetics that anything actually is personalizable seems like it would take quite a long time. So I'm being too anti-cosmetic, I guess. I'm just very skeptical of it actually working well in like any time before like well after Momentum is actually released and we add it like retroactively.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have players that don't give a shit about their ranks or have terrible ranks, so you got to have another aspect for people to grind for, and that's what the cosmetic side's going to try to do. But I mean, if we don't give it
about your,
like, if you care more about completion, you're not really caring that, oh yay, like I'm level 5 because I got rank 10,000 on or whatever. Like, there's not, you know, I guess completion levels tie together, but like in the case of like a cosmetic that you can have in a lobby or in your replay, like, yeah, obviously if you're going for like world records and stuff, like you're likely to get that anyway. But yeah, I mean, I agree that we need to have cosmetics before we like unleash cosmetics, because if everyone just buys the same thing, then what's the point? But
we don't have the capacity to make many cosmetics right now.
Right, and we could use.
I don't know if we ever will.
We can look into Steam Workshop and stuff like TF2 does. You know, it's things like that where we can definitely involve the community with it, and I'm sure there will be people that will be very passionate around having, you know, some stuff, because you can always have things custom. Like, I could change out the sticky launcher on my client at any time, but like to have that networked is such a security risk that it needs to be cosmetics that we ship with the game.
Oh yeah,
and
for sure.
Yeah, and so we're never going to have like, you can still personalize locally, but we always want to have the ability to like show off what you have. Oh, okay, I go that way. It's like, oh, I could go that way. Why is it? It's like invisible right here. What the fuck?
What I'm just expecting is that given
That's
that
awful.
the level indicators will always be visible on, like, from 1.0. Like, we don't have this right now because we don't actually do requests for like user data for other people in your lobby right now. We'll start doing that in the future. But like
Yeah.
once we have that from the back end, we need a fast way to do that. We'll have that by Redis-based stuff. But once we have that, like we can quickly like query the lobby that the level that everyone in your lobby has, right? And like given that will be there and quite visible, like it's a number. People like big numbers, right? And it's like, if it's an immediately identifiable number, the person with the biggest number is the best. And it's nice to have number go up, you know. So I just think like it's a relatively simple system that probably is going to be. I think most people care about most is my guess. I could be wrong, but
Fuck.
like I don't think we should. I think the level in itself should be quite a worthwhile thing for a lot of people. I hope, and it's something that people do care about, like seeing increase.
Yeah, inside of
and feels
the
like
chat.
it's. Yeah, so it'd show up in chat and then in the like lobby page, also on people's profile and the website.
Yeah.
Like I just think that we shouldn't underestimate that in itself. Think that, oh, we need cosmetics as well. Not that I'm saying I don't think cosmetics can ever work, but like we'll have the level indicator thing a lot sooner anyway, and I think that will hopefully be appealing. Or at least it's something. Also, there's a whole rank system, like, and how good this stuff doesn't really represent how good you are. It just represents how much you play them.
Yeah, how much you played. Yeah.
Okay, I think we had one more question that we could do.
Okay.
Oh, it's easy. Sorry, it's and it kind of leads. 55555 asks. This may seem like a pretty obvious question, but are you guys going to add workshop support and tools to help port maps over to? We are not doing workshop for maps. We have a whole own system. Steam Workshop could never work. There's all sorts of limitations.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
If we wanted to do leaderboards based on that, there's nothing stopping the person that has the map on the workshop from just deleting it and then the map. We have our whole own map submission system, custom made specifically for workshops and everything. What we were just talking about with a potential cosmetic system is where we would do Steam Workshop probably, which is anyone can make a cosmetic and submit it to Steam Workshop, and we can choose to include that with the game, like TF2 does. And that's one way that cosmetics could work in Momentum. The main issue with doing cosmetics for us, I think, is like programmatically it's quite easy. It's just you need to have a lot of cosmetic, because if you don't, then everyone ends up with the same stuff, and it's just kind of that they have no value. Also, we don't intend to have trading, as far as I know. And so without that, then like
I think
making stuff.
have.
I think we can actually. I think it's possible.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see what's limited in terms of. I think we can have items, but I don't think we can use marketplace or trading, or something. It's like there's a limit. We can definitely not use marketplace.
Oh yeah, of course. But yeah,
Damn.
But the main worry then for me with cosmetics is just that like right now we don't have like loads of modelers on our team. We've got Ethan who's around a bit, but mostly working on Catboy Zoom right now. He did all the like view models and stuff you're seeing here, and the player model that we still don't have hooked up. Because I still have like dog bark noises, and I'm trying to concentrate, and I'm just dog barking. But yeah, we don't have like a team of people that are just going to be making endless cosmetics for us. And modeling takes time.
So close.
Question wasn't even about cosmetics. Well, I was sorry. I was kind of going back to the Lodi one. The reason I'm in terms of answering the Steam Workshop thing, the answer for if it's not about cosmetics is no. We have no use for it. We have our own. Yeah. But I guess the Cascadia our porting tools guidelines. Yeah, Lumper is the main porting tool. There's also BSP convert that can do defrag to source one maps. Lumper will be the main
source
thing. And in some cases, yeah, well we don't have that yet, but we might. Game Chaos has been looking at doing some stuff for that, trading with BSP convert. There's other ways to do gold source stuff, but it's all a bit jank, horrible. But so and there's also, in some cases reporting we will have to decompile and recompile, but we're trying to avoid that as best we can. So yeah, in terms of tools, the main thing will be Lumper, and then guidelines will have doc soon-ish.
Yeah, it's not. They're not ready yet, but yeah, we will.
Yeah, I'd like to start focusing on it more soon. Once we actually get a full 1.0 release of Lumper out, we can start doing more on it. It's also just depends on who has time available. If we have team members or other people that want to work on porting guidelines soon, then it means programmers don't have to do it. Otherwise, me, Panzer, and people are interested in doing some porting guideline stuff. It's just, it would be great if it wasn't us doing it, because there's other stuff we can be playing. So I'm hoping Mac helps out. Might have some other team members, maybe just other community members.
But yeah,
there's
submission guidelines, porting guidelines, all of these will be on our docs. We absolutely want that to be as public as possible.
Oh yeah, and we'll have a lot there. Where some of it will be like direct things that like you must do, of like, you know, not packing CSS assets, stuff like that, and how to remove them. And then some other things on like for new maps and like recommendations for how people do stuff. And so there'll be some rules and then some just recommendations and how-tos. And but yeah, we'll get this very standardized. It's just it will probably end up being one of the last things we do. It depends if we get like I say, team members or other people who get really involved with doing it, then we can get it done sooner. But it's quite likely that a lot of it gets done by people that are also programmers, and we're going to be focusing on the programming side of stuff first. But yeah, we'll try and get a first 1.0 release of Lumper out. I was showing it off last Q&A, and a month from then, it's in code review still. If you go on the GitHub, there's 180 comments total. Bird, we're not talking about Bird's folk, but Bird has spent. I did a really crap job at doing the formatting of it as well with some of the Git. I feel really bad about it, but anyway, Bird's been really like chugging through it, and we're nearly there. And then we have some other PRs to do after that. We got some other stuff to review and stuff. But yeah, we'll get like the 1.0 release of Lumper out soon. Yeah. Also, zoning tools are nearly done. We were talking about this earlier. Pinscreaker has been finishing up the new zoning UI stuff. So, yeah. Okay. That's everything.
That's every question we got.
Yes. I'm very tired. Sorry for interrupting you so much today. I'm sleepy and stupid. Just so. But sorry about that.
It's okay. It's I mean, it's good to get everyone's input on it, but yeah, for sure, we'll have to work on timing.
Yeah.
I can't do this jump. I think I did this not last Q&A, another Q&A. I don't know if I've done this jump. I can get over there and I can stabilize myself. I can't get there yet. I'll work on it. Anyway. I think that's it. We had the 3 hour? Yeah. 5 minutes over?
Yeah, a little bit.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that's everything.
Okay. Well, is there anybody streaming the game as well? Nope, just us. Okay. Can just raid the otters. Classic.
Oh yeah, that's a good go-to.
Traz made the Tombog. Let's go.
Oh no. Wait, where is it?
All right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, if there's nobody streaming that we can potentially raid, just the otters. Okay, you got the raid.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Wait. Is it marine mammal? Yeah. Okay.
Sweet.
We'll have more stuff to show off next.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully you guys got some nice bits of information here. Yeah, we'll have hopefully way more to show off next Q&A. A lot of stuff coming together. But yeah, take it easy. See you guys next month. You'll probably see Tom a lot before then. But yeah, take it easy and enjoy some otters. And then yeah, we'll we'll see you next month. Take it easy, everyone.